loss wage, making it hybrid, so that they can also listen to, encourage them also to ask questions, and whenever they want to speak, encourage them also to speak up. So that will be available. But now in the CPE scheme of things, officially ICI is going to discontinue the hybrid. It will be either virtual session or a physical session. They will allow both, but either, no hybrid. But these meetings will continue. So we will say people who are physical, it is a physical meeting. Those who came, their attendance is captured. Those who are virtual, they're getting the benefit of learning, but will not be able to capture their attendance. But in any case, in the virtual session, they will get their 6 CPR, so no one is at a loss. Yeah. Any other questions? Happy to take. Or Shweta, you want to say something, or Pinky Madam, anything to add? You can add.
Nothing much. Just if you can come up with some topics for the general members also, so we can keep lectures also. And speaker, anyone from your group can be. We can. So it will be like regular sessions will be started, I think, for the BFSI sectors.
Both right now, either virtual or physical, no hybrid.
Hybrid is not allowed.
So that will certainly happen. Only we are making exception.
This is making an exception.
Certainly, you say how many you want, 10, 20, 100. और आपके लिए कर देंगे क्या?
Sure. Sessions. वो बोले 10, 20, 12 कितने चाहिए बोलो?
See, the thing is, this study group should be for younger people actually. Yeah. There should be a lot more from wherever we are working in a banks, insurance. There must be so many people who should come and they should say कि ये topic में मेरे को knowledge लेना है, इसके ऊपर अच्छा speaker लाओ. But somehow that message, for whatever reason, is not reaching. So we should encourage people to register. 750 rupees is not too much. And I told Manoj ji and all of them, Yogesh and everyone, कि like instead of 12 you want to meet 24 times, you are welcome to meet. Facility अपना ही है ना. There is no rent, there is no electricity, free है. और चाय बिस्किट का इतना पैसा नहीं लगता है, which ICI can afford. Okay. So I don't see there is any problem at all. We should, if people are ready to come. Only thing is BKC is a little off, थोड़ा सा वैसा. और Bombay में travel is difficult. But then I think we should.
We have a good place also. Roongta ji, Shweta ji, one question: why hybrid is actually excluded? General question.
See, what is happening is now, like whenever you keep it hybrid, जैसा अभी direct tax refresher course चल रहा है नीचे, 166 physical registration and 800 virtual registration. Now, the biggest of big speakers in direct tax come. So the speaker is made to come here physically. है ना, वो बेचारा ट्रैवल करके आता है, लोगों को घर में बैठना है. और जो 166 थे उसमें से पहले सेशन में when we started there were 80 at 4 o'clock. By the time we finished were 125. But second and third Saturday people start calling up since morning, link दे दो ना, link दे दो ना, link दे दो ना. तो अभी 90 लोग ही है, लेकिन स्पीकर आ रहा है. और कोई अहमदाबाद से आ रहा है, कोई पूना से आ रहा है. तो आई एम सेइंग कि like see, and again in virtual, sitting at home, people generally do they listen to the whole session? I have my own doubt. Yes. सब काम चलता रहता है, फोन भी चालू है, ये भी चालू, you don't know. So we don't even actually learn also in a way, I think.
It looks very bad when speaker is are not able to start on time even if hybrid is there.
अभी last week एक session था, 100 virtual, 30 physical, 5 बजे 8 people were there. Then I requested the speaker, मतलब embarrass होते होते उसको सर प्लीज चालू करते हैं, क्योंकि वो 80-90 लोग और virtually थे. So that is a problem. And see, someday now again ICI will be looking at the still again this COVID wave etc. views that like virtual also can continue. But now in the new CPE guidelines which is coming, not formal right now, whatever I hear is virtual CPE will be unstructured and structured will be only physical. That the committee is doing. So then that means again for the new year people will have to come back. जिसका नहीं complete हुआ, they will have to come to the physical classroom to complete the CPE.
I had a purpose of asking this question. Why? Because in banks and other industries, people are looking at evolving a hybrid model so that we are able to expand more. So I understood. That's the reason I asked the question why we are going opposite to what the recent trend is.
The purpose is more of training, so training is not.
And see, actually, there are lots of things. Matlab, like I told you one, but I'll take one more example. So, like all these study circles, they feel like agar WRC keeps on doing virtual or ICI keeps on doing virtual,
Okay.
then like no one comes to the study circle, so they will get stopped or killed in a way. Similarly, the branches. So again, people want to come back, and people feel that networking also important. We should come physically, meet each other, and physical learning is like much more.
Yeah, yeah. It gives a different perspective itself. I agree.
Anything else?
And this year, I think capital market also included in this. Earlier, it was only BFS.
It was always there, right from foundation over a decade ago. And the thing, over 9 central council members and 20 WRC members were involved before formation of the group. I'll just share because some of you are not aware. And there were 10-15 emails exchanged between the chairman, and they insisted, email dalo, get 100 people from industry. 87 people gave their membership number, and at that time it was covered at Loda Auditorium. First 3 meetings were done in Loda Auditorium, and there was a panel discussion. People of CFO level from private sector, public sector, and investment banking. 2 presentations, short, 20 minutes. We said 20-30 chalega, and a panel discussion. And 37 people came all the way to cup for it. And the chairman, Mangesh Kanare, was there. And there were other, Priti Sawla was one of the person who came. And they said, you form a core group, form a meeting, core meeting. और सबको बोला 1 घंटा पहले आ जाओ, like today, no? And in that entrance of that, we had a meeting. 6-7 people were there. Mangesh Kanare, Neil Majitia, Priti Sawla came. They said, industry members, you decide the format of the meeting the way you want to do. This is not a study circle. No IT, that appeals and those topics. Anything industry wants. 5 members भी आएंगे चलेगा. At that time, P notes का बड़ा issue था, headlines था. You know, P notes इसका. And they said, Panch, you do specialized topic, you do popular topics, and you decide the format. And the format evolved, like we're discussing, 2 presentations and a discussion, and everybody should speak. Everybody. 1 minute बात करो, 5 minute बात करो, 20 minute बात करो. Now we fixed a target with Sumit agreed in your presence. End of the year, on 2-wheeler industry, he will do a presentation for 15 minutes. Coordinator, conveners, this is all fine. I know in that branch is doing a lot of things.
Yeah, active.
But on 2-wheeler industry, but possibly a senior VP level will support and speak on the sector after your presentation.
Perfect.
So you are a leader, but there are others. I'll tell you, there are many VPs and senior VPs here. Here, actually, this was meant to be that, and chun ke pakda hai. So BFSI CM, at that time, this was a pioneering, we used to call it a roundtable group, because the members said we'll do roundtables. And BFSI CM includes all the topics of all the study groups. They all formed later, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, no? And all were under the chairman. And the chairman said, nobody will interfere in the working of the group. Industry members chahiye. Industry wale aane chahiye. That's how it started. So BFSI CM also there. Verbally ho jata hai. वो लोग who are little lazy, also no, so BFSI, but it is BFSI CM, or the team knows BFSI CM. Only incidentally there were separate committees. Even now at Central Council there are separate committees.
So here also we got 2 committee. Capital Market, she is the chairman, so that is the reason. Interested party. So that is the reason she started that discussion.
And Capital Market Summit, which happened for 6-7 years, it is coming from this group. There are many speakers, no experts, and they do, and there are many VP, senior VP level also attend. So अभी साथ में करना पड़ेगा, whoever is it, you can ensure. एक capital market summit, एक banking conclave नाम था, तो right को पता नहीं था ऐसा committee.
You can get started.
Actually, I want to inform you all कि हम लोग capital market committee में we are organizing one webinar every month. और वो कैपिटल मार्केट के सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर ही रहता है. अभी हमारा जो जुलाई में है उसमें सुनील अग्रवाल आ रहे हैं. तो मैं आप लोगों को भेज दूंगी, आप लोग उसमें रजिस्टर्ड हो जाना. प्लस
No, I'll tell you, it is very, very clear. Speakers will come from this group. That you ensure that. Because we have many speakers. We have got 13 speakers who are paid up.
We will not have that condition. Speaker can come from this group also. They can come from in the session.
Yes, yes. The first option.
Yeah, knowledge sharing.
Knowledge sharing. Yeah.
And the only thing is, because Shweta touched the subject and Pinky touched the subject, my last request, and then let us leave so that you can get started with the business. Like any topic you feel, in 2 hours, it will add value to the general public. Let us organize the session. 15 दिन लगते हैं. Speaker topic नक्की कर लिया. We'll give you the date 6 to 8 virtual. And if the topic are like of interest to the larger membership, we can keep it free also. Otherwise, 100 rupees token fees and that's it. So membership can come and get benefit out of it.
100 rupees token fee should always be
नहीं कोई
there.
बुलाया सुनील
I think giving anything to be devalued.
मेरे मुख से निकला गलत निकला. सुनील सिंघानिया ही आ रहे हैं जुलाई में, जो आ रहे हैं वो सुनील सिंघानिया आ रहे हैं.
And मनोज जी को भी बुलाएंगे.
हाँ उनको उसे बात चलिए. एंड 26 अगस्त को लास्ट सैटरडे संडे नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस रखी है कैपिटल मार्केट की. तो आप लोग सब अपने अपने जो भी आपको समझ में आता है कि ये टॉपिक इसमें स्ट्रक्चर में आना चाहिए, प्लीज you can tell me.
But if it's a humble request, if you can involve in the decision making before deciding speakers, there are so-called
मैं इसीलिए बोल रही हूँ कि इसके
such
लिए मेरी बात
people
चल
you
रही
have
थी आप लोगों को
mentioned.
जो
If you can
भी
involve, that is better.
True.
You will be the winner if you involve.
या सबको मिलके ही कोई भी बड़ा
So,
काम
a few words you listen to our senior most speaker is there. His address, 10 minutes. We would just like you to listen.
So, just request Vijay Mullaji.
Yeah.
Sir. But before that, I would request Anil Sharma to introduce our esteemed speaker. Vijay Mullaji.
I've been given the task to introduce Vijay Mullaji. His academic credentials are he's a fellow member of our institute, of course. He has a diploma in management, business management for IMC. He is BCom from Mumbai University. He has held position of finance and investment manager in NSIRS Ur & Company Private Limited. Then he was manager with UTI and then partner with Patoria and Associate Chartered Accountants and handled inter-ally taxation matter of Tata Group of Trusts. Currently partner with Damania and Shah Chartered Accountants. And he has been very active in the capital market and has been associated with our study group since inception. And he is also the past vice president of Matunga Gymkhana and has been many publications to his credit, including he writes a chat column in the Economic Times. With this brief introduction, I request Vijay Mullaji to take the stage.
Thank you. Friends, at the outset, I would like to thank our chairman, Murtuza Kachwala, for helping us revive this group after a break of 3 years. It was a very long break, and but for your help, we would not have revived this group. So we are extremely thankful to you for reviving the group and for your presence today.
And we are thankful to all of you, sir. All the 11 groups this year we have revived, and everyone like from RERA, GST, Direct Tax, everything has started now.
Sir, you mentioned about representation. So that is a very important point, and I feel that we should take it up very seriously. That's a very publication also. This group is capable of doing it.
Yes.
Only thing, the conveners have to take it up seriously.
Yes, we will do.
That's called pressure.
And one more point, sir, you mentioned about younger members. That's a very important point because younger members have years ahead of them, and this is the platform, this is the forum through which they can develop.
Yes.
Today, my friend's son, Umang Parekh, he has attended. I persuaded him. He is in specializing in equity research. He is with Asika Stockbroking. So I said that this platform will help you to develop, and in course of time, you will become a speaker with the help of this group. As Manoj said, the earlier meetings were held in Anveshak Kaf Parade. So it's a far cry, this place is a far cry from those Anveshak days. Because considering the facilities over here, those facilities were just, but there was a lot of enthusiasm and pioneering effort by Manoj to start this group. So when enthusiasm is there, the facilities don't matter that much. But of course, this facilities does help us, and it sets the right ambience, top class ambience for us to meet. We have developed, we have this BFSI CM, we have discussed around 200 topics. Mainly the theme of the topic is India growth story. And under India growth story, banking, including investment banking, under finance, mutual fund, then portfolio management, investment advisory, wealth management, all those topics we have covered. We had about 200 topics covered. Under then insurance and capital market. Under capital market, we had equity research, fundamental analysis, as well as technical analysis. Both we have covered. We had one session on full session on technical analysis. One more thing is that how to develop new speakers. Because what is happening in the profession is that the same set of speakers, they are continuing. And considering the size of the profession, there is a dearth of new speakers. But here we can help younger generation to come up as new speakers. Narrating my own experience, I still recollect how Manoj persuaded me to make presentation on insider trading, equity analyst rules. But for his persuasion, I would not have made those presentations. That initial persuasion and help does help and encourages. So I am thankful to him for that. And he continues, not just me, he encourages all young people and anybody who is willing to take up the role of speaker and making presentation. We have been awarded 5 times by ICI President at annual meets. The founders have been acknowledged and awarded at 5 ICI meets. That is a big thing for us, and that's very good achievement and encouragement for the group. One more concept that we have introduced here is mentoring. I don't think any other study group or study circle has a mentoring panel. Correct me if I am wrong, but to my knowledge, no other study circle or study group has mentoring panel. We have 6 mentors, and chief mentor is of course Manoj Alim Chandani. Roongta is one of the mentor. Ajay Parmar, Archana Moge, Nipun Mehta, Yogesh Satpute, Aditya Agarwal. These are our mentors. And what we can do is, if younger members are interested, we can establish one-to-one mentor-mentee relationship. The younger members can select that I want to be under this mentor, depending upon his interest, his specialization. So that will help a member to be under a mentor and be properly guided. Younger members should be guided, otherwise just going on making studies without guidance of any senior person, senior mentor, it will not be that fruitful. Apart from this speaking skill, we need to develop so many other skills like moderating, interactive skills, writing skills, and media skills. Like how our colleague Roongta, when I see him on TV, I feel that I should have also developed that media skill. He should become media savvy. Generally, CA profession members are not that media savvy. But we have our example here.
There are lots of chartered accountants who are media savvy. I mean, I know quite a few.
Okay. Okay. I stand corrected. So I would like to thank Chairman for giving me an opportunity to share my views.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. In fact, I have mentioned my name. but since you mentioned, I'll just respond. Two things. One is I want to thank Chairman. When I told the Chairman, we have a very senior person in the group who is there right from inception. At that time, I think I mentioned he's about 72. He corrected, he said he's 75 this year. So 72 was 3 years. And the Chairman mentioned the word, if he can come and give a special address. So then I told him at one of the meetings.
Your topic, your time.
And he sent and he was delighted. He got an email.
Just a number.
That is the way to do it.
And he says, I got a mail from the chairman to give a special address. So I said, kitna lamba? 30 minutes, 45. He says, I will decide, but I leave enough time for the two presentations which he wants to watch and participate. This is one. And second thing is you mentioned about the publication. I will tell you, everybody may not be aware, but excellent material of over 200 pages on equity research, valuations, fundamental and technical analysis has been prepared by members in this group. Everybody was given a chance, and I think 6 to 7, it took over 1 year. But as some of you are aware, the system here, committee badal gaya. And it has been prepared. Excellent one. Valuations, equity research, fundamental and technical analysis. It was prepared on request of many council members. And heart sweat when we said we can't copy. Over 200 pages. Now it's a little a story. It was not published. They said publish karo before 14th of February. Otherwise, we'll have to see when we come back in the committee. But it is ready and excellent. And then people will still call, what about that publication? What about that publication?
So just update it to the current situation and let us release it within a month. Keep a target of a month and finish it off. Really.
And now those people who are here, they are in the central council. They talked also about, there's some standard payment. There's some standard payment. There's some standard payment and all. They had committed also. We'll discuss separately, but it has been done. And you can say the best publication, if it is published as a book, no, it will be a bestseller because it was meant for this. Harsh is a part of it. Remember, financial planning and this, we said we'll start a separate program to encourage research. Yes. It happens. And even last week somebody said, what about this? It is always the latest trends. And this is excellent material prepared by the members here. Members of this and members of the annual capital market summit, which used to be packed. Director level people, VP level, senior VP level people used to attend. Interactive session. So it is there.
But it should come up as ICI publication, then it will carry greater value.
ICI. And in due course, many people from here will also, they are part of ICI and they will be there.
Manoj, can I, since the chairman is here, can I take 5 minutes?
Acha, before that, Anil. Yeah, even Anil. Yeah, then you can take 30 minutes.
Before you leave, I need that 5 minutes.
I will just take 1 minute to introduce you. Yes. Do anyone need Harsh Roongta's introduction?
Give a big clap.
What is the point in sending you that list? Otherwise, we've done articles together. I can't expect him to say good things about me. Here he will say good things.
I will just add a point over here.
My objective was to engage or ration time with chairman.
They are very practical and it really captures the pain points in the banking industry, capital markets, anywhere. It captures the pain points.
Personal finance, primarily.
And also where we need changes, representations, that kind of articles are there. And it really keeps you thinking, oh yes, this should have been there, that should have been there. It's a good thought. So I hand over the mantle to
Let us also welcome CA Ketan Sayya, Regional Council Member. Welcome, Ketan.
So before I speak, I think that my number is coming up later. I want to raise an issue that I have been raising with. So I'm not a member in practice. I don't hold a COP. I'm a chartered accountant, experienced chartered accountant, as you can see by the color of my hair. one of the things that I have been telling all, I mean, Central Council, Regional, Western Regional Council, I frankly gave up about 3-4 years ago. Okay. I run what is called a investment advisory practice. Okay. For running an investment advisory practice, you need a license from SEBI. Right. So that's the license that we have taken. I feel that chartered accountants are the ideal people to be investment advisors. But because the institute is not coming out with clear guidelines on whether practicing chartered accountants, whether they can apply for SEBI license. SEBI is very clear. There is no exemption to chartered accountants unless they take an investment advisory license. I have written to, I think I gave up about 3-4 years ago. I've written to the Central Council, industry and all that. I mean the members in industry. I've written to
I can answer.
WILC.
I have understood the question. I can answer. Don't worry. But in case you want to add something.
No, so my point is, as a profession, it pains me. It pains me that people, this is an additional area. Chartered accountants are already handling. It's not affecting me because I'm not a chartered accountant in practice. But there are, and probably here in this room, a lot of us are not in practice. But I'm sure, I mean, in your audiences that you address, there are a lot of CAs in practice. I have taught the batches, that have done financial planning, wealth management. I think it is an ideal extension for chartered accountants, if only the institute can get around to giving clarity whether members in full-time practice can apply for a license or not.
No, cannot.
So that is a problem. So I think because then the people are not able to.
Right now, briefly, but later on we can discuss for hours together. That is not a problem. And I'll be able to convince you also. See, it is very clear that like when you are in practice, you are in practice. You need to devote time. Otherwise, what will happen is कोई LIC भी बेचेगा, कोई म्यूचुअल फंड भी बेचेगा, कोई शेयर मार्केट में भी टिप देगा. प्रैक्टिस में फिर अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड कभी पड़ेगा, डायरेक्ट टैक्स कभी पड़ेगा, इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स कभी पड़ेगा, and then he will just blindly keep on signing. And if he blindly keeps on signing, then every other day it keeps on coming in the newspaper कि CA ने ये नहीं किया, CA ने वो नहीं किया. So he might as well do investment advisory. Don't practice, but then don't take the COP. Listen to me. I heard you patiently. So I'll take only 1 or 2 minutes. So first thing is that someone wants to do project finance, no need to take COP. Someone wants to go and do like maybe a physical verification inventory, we can prepare an assay, go for something, they don't need to do this thing. But in case they want to put their signature on anything, then they need a COP. And if they take a COP for signing whether a certificate, balance sheet, tax audit, company audit, then the institute wants them to focus. In fact, the whole new education system, I'll take 1 or 2 minutes. We are again focusing a lot more. Certain things, law we were teaching here also, there also we said no, we'll teach it here only in inter and finish. Something in foundation finish, something in inter finish, but not again and again. Allied laws are all out now. That has become a module where you can go and read. There is only one law, company law, that's it. We want to go back to basic. We want to teach accounting, direct tax, indirect tax and company law. That's it. And accounting standard and ethics. That's it. In our course curriculum, main. There are risk management, there is data and digital, there is so and so, which is again all optional. You can touch base. We cannot make you expert in everything. One. So the syllabus is getting mapped to the international syllabus. We are coming up with open book. ले लो book लेके बैठो. लेकिन now the questions will be such where you have to apply. We don't want you to rut and write. We want you to apply. Application of mine is important. And again, the articleship now is coming down to 2 years. Why? Because every day complain. बच्चा GMCS की छुट्टी मांग रहा है, ओरिएंटेशन मांग रहा है, ITT मांग रहा है, बच्चा बोलता है प्रिंसिपल छुट्टी नहीं देता है. Everyday fight. Then calculation of 1/6, whether Saturday Sunday is included, not included, whether for the leave we should pay the check or not pay the check, stipend ka. All those fight kept on happening. We want to kill everything. 2 years articleship. Complete your foundation. Foundation will be the strongest, toughest. लोग बोलते हैं जिंदगी पूरा जवानी निकल गया लेकिन सीए नहीं बना, सीए ने मेरे को बर्बाद कर दिया. भाई जवानी मत दो, फाउंडेशन में ही फेल हो जाओ, सीए में आओ ही मत. इंजीनियरिंग करो, मेडिकल करो, जिधर तुम्हारा जवानी नहीं बर्बाद होता उधर जाओ. Foundation will be strong. Once you clear foundation, you come inside, prepare for your intermediate. Once you clear intermediate, it will be less tougher. Once you clear intermediate, then most likely you will clear final. 90% you will clear final. That is what we are trying to say. That will be the easier one. Again, immediately after the intermediate, you can start your articleship after clearing both groups.
That's a good idea.
If you don't clear, don't start your articleship, don't waste your time. But if you start articleship, 2 साल में no छुट्टी at all. 12 days a year. Sick leave, PL, whatever you call. Only 12 days a year. No 1/6, no GMCS, no orientation, no ITT, no nothing. Learn, learn and learn. Simple. Now, then you appear for final. After final, you get a membership certificate. You go and take a job in industry wherever you want. But gray hair like you and me, after 20 years, all of a sudden, I say decide one day कि अभी बहुत पैसा कमा लिया इंडस्ट्री में अभी कल से practice करने का है. So practice चालू कर दिया. Sorry. Again go to a CA firm, do articleship for 1 year, then only you will get COP, then only you sign. Because 70% of disciplinary cases are such people who are so-called expert in industry, who started practice and they did not know the auditing standard, they did not know the accounting standard, they did not have the documentation and working paper. And that is the reason they got suspended, they got banned. What is the point? उल्टा membership के लिए अच्छा कर रहे कुछ क्या भाई साहब पहला आओ सीख लो और फिर करो. And the second thing.
Sorry, this 1 year, 1 year article will be required when you don't have a COP for how long? I mean, is there any?
Whenever. See,
Once you don't have a COP?
if you have COP already, then you continue. अगर आपको लगता है कि 2 साल बाद मैं प्रैक्टिस करने वाला हूं, तो आप तीसरा साल आर्टिकलशिप तभी कर लो. सीए का डिग्री मिल गया, उसके बाद 3rd ईयर भी आर्टिकलशिप कर लो, COP ले लो, finish. Then there is no problem.
So the reduced articleship is coterminous with COP. If someone wants to take COP, then he
Then one more year.
with the break.
One more additional year.
With a break.
Okay, and after break also you come, then you do that 1 year articleship with the CA firm. And another purpose.
Break should be defined. Because 1 year for a senior guy is an onerous thing to go 1 year full time.
So there are many senior guys
But it
actually.
is meant to be honest.
है ना?
It is meant to be honest. It is meant to be honest.
What kind of gap we are talking about? 5 years, 10 years?
Assuming I am an expert in insurance industry, I can go to a KPMG and do my this thing there. Will they take me in statutory audit to learn all of those? They will not take you in statutory audit अगर आपका background नहीं है तो. ठीक है. अगर मैंने किधर छोटा-छोटा जगह पे CFO का काम किया तो क्या मेरे को कोई बड़ा फर्म पार्टनर बनाएगा? नहीं बनाएगा. क्यों नहीं बनाता है? क्योंकि आपको नहीं मालूम है ऑडिटिंग स्टैंडर्ड क्या, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड क्या नहीं मालूम है, इसके लिए नहीं बनाता है. तो इंस्टीट्यूट से क्यों एक्सपेक्ट करते हो सब चीज ना? दैट इज द होल थिंग. वी आर सेइंग अच्छा. अगेन सेकंड थिंग इज व्हाई शुड एवरीवन गो एंड स्टार्ट प्रोप्राइटरशिप? Let them go and search for a CA firm, take up a job. It can be 50,000, 70,000, 80,000, whatever they bargain with that firm. But they start that practice, and maybe if the guy is really that smart and if he can bring business and if he can do things, वो बंदा जाने ही नहीं देगा, उसको पार्टनर बना देगा 1 साल बाद. तो आपको भी वापस वेबसाइट बनाओ, वापस फॉर्म चालू करो, वापस 1 करोड़ रुपए का ऑफिस लो या भाड़े पे ऑफिस लो. क्यों कर रहे हैं? So there are 2-3 aspects of it, but one thing is clear: that practice just cannot be just like that started. Practice can be anything, which is non-attestation. You can do whatever you want, any day, कभी भी जिंदगी में आप करो. उससे रेपुटेशन रिस्क नहीं है इंस्टीट्यूट को, लेकिन जिधर रेपुटेशन रिस्क आप साइन करते हो, तो उसके लिए आप 1 साल काम करो और फिर आओ. There are a lot of stuff in the new education system, and we did a lot of reach out programs also to get feedback of people. Revamping completely this time, revamping completely. But see, that is where.
And even this, such a categorical answer. So I appreciate that you've given a categorical answer. Okay. And I think even this categorical answer is very important because it gives a direction. Now there are lots of people in this batch that I taught who wanted to do financial advisory practice and who had a COP. It will be very clear to them that you can't do both. So they can make up their mind whether they want to do this or that.
Sir, I have one.
Still people do in their wife's name, just to answer that.
You can't definitely to try doing investment advisory in your wife's name, sir.
Right.
I think
I just have
it's
one
more.
question.
1 minute, sir. Let me finish this conversation. It's more difficult probably to pass the investment advisory exams nowadays than it is to pass the CA exams. So that will tell you the level of difficulty.
Right.
In exchanges and SEBI monitors
we
a
are
lot.
talking about investment advisory, and you said that the practicing member not do investment advisory. The reason being that he will not be able to focus on his practice. He will be giving injustice to his own clients, accounting clients. So then the whole thing is on a premise and assumption that that person is a single person, proprietor. No, sir. Give me some time. In today's terms, I think we have to think about partnership with maybe say 10 partners, where one of them is a specialist in this, but they leverage each other.
Perfect.
So that is what.
तो फिर तो stress ही नहीं है ना. One person does not become practicing, and he goes and does only investment advisory. Private limited company. People are doing that. One LLP and or a firm, one private limited company, all income calculated together, all revenue calculated together, और someone keeps each and every individual partner का P&L भी रखते हैं, और वो भी रहता है कि firm का profit कितना, firm का performance, individual performance, और वैसा करके then they share the revenue and bonuses. So I think that is possible. That is not a problem at all.
So I think the categorical answer is what people were looking for.
And see, now in multidisciplinary partnership coming up, and institute agreeing, we'll be able to become partner with a cost accountant, company secretary, lawyer. So those will come inside. So someday, maybe now is the time we need to make representation to the central council in the right forum. And I would say you write and give it to us, we will send it to them. And I'll talk to the VP and president directly, like why not this category also be added inside, where like one partner does not have a COP, but is still a partner in the firm, and it is only investment advisory. I think that will be possible. So you will not have to open again a private limited separately.
Sir, MDP to allowed hai na abhi?
Hai na, MDP
so
allowed.
We can do with architects department in a PHC.
Yeah.
We are doing that.
Yeah.
So it is permitted, right?
Yes. So we are doing one session on MDP this month again.
Okay.
So and the best speaker, so you can come and you can ask any queries also that way.
So it's legally allowed. We can be. So cost accountant, you said now कि cost accountant का भी permission.
उसका institute permission देगा तो वो करेंगे. Our institute has given. Bar council has not given.
So very good insight. Actually, I was not aware of this. I'm really, at least I take away something.
Yeah, it's very helpful.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think, sorry, the first meeting we took a lot of time, but
We are not aware.
It's time. Keep coming.
अभी digital transformation
अच्छा शुक्र.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What I'm doing.
इन्होंने मुझे दिखाया है.
If you have a deputy, take the care of everything.
Of course. You need a license from state, and that's not easy to come by.
There's no
Then it's not a profession. Shall we start? Please, let's start. Otherwise, we'll run out of time.
everyone.
Run out.
I request CA Dr. Yogesh Satkate to give a brief introduction of CA Rohit Patoria, our next speaker.
So, actually, Rohit sir doesn't need an introduction, but still, he's been a digital enthusiast. He's always eager to understand new developments in the digital world. He is a fellow member of Institute. He is a fellow member of ICSI. He has done a certification program on digital transformation from IIT Bombay and as a Bachelor of Commerce. He's a chartered accountant and company secretary with wide experience in banking, manufacturing, consulting, and other organizations across Hdfc Bank, HBL Global, Saint-Gobain, Intrex India, and Agricultural Finance Corporation. Currently, is working with Hdfc Bank and heading planning and controls digital banking function. He has been a CFO, financial controller, a strategic planner in his past roles. He's been a compliance officer. He's been a chief insurance executive for a corporate insurance agency. He was a management representative for ISO and member of various committees, including risk profiling committee and investment committee. He has been associated with various activities of ICAI, authored several articles on corporate law and corporate finance. He's been a regular speaker and panelist for programs organized by Institute. With this short brief, I request Rohit sir just to start and take it forward.
Thank you, Yogesh. It was not short, it was quite long. So, thank you. I have actually, Archana told me around I have to complete it within 45 minutes, including discussion. I take it from Murtuza ji. He need to keep it more interactive. So I'll try to keep it more interactive. I hope I'm audible. Yeah. So, first of all, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Quickly, starting with digital transformation. I'll start with the disclaimer because this presentation is only for knowledge sharing and education purpose. So the ideas which I am expressing here are my own views. This cannot be construed as views of the institute or the company I am working with or the study group which I represent. With this, I would like to quickly start. Before talking about digital transformation, it is important for us to at least talk about digital economy. So, digital economy is term for all economic processes, transactions, interactions, and activities that are based on digital technology. So, digital technology is cashless economy or rather less cash economy. This slide actually talks about components of digital economy. I would like to draw your attention on the components of digital economy. This is actually a dated slide, so need not refer to the numbers because these might have changed. So digital components, what are the components of digital economy? IT enabled service, electronics, telecom, e-com, digital payments, cyber security, Internet of Things. Internet of Things I'll try to elaborate more. Sharing economy, digital skilling. So these are very important and valuable terminology. So when I talk about digital skilling, so I have a reference of NASSCOM report. This is a recent NASSCOM report which gave you insight into how digital economy has changed. So digital transformation has got an increase by 30%. Cloud spending has increased by 18%, and there is a 15% rise in people in the digital space, the customers. In coming years, we are going to see wave of hyper digitalization, more physical plus digital world, changing working model, and reskilling and skill for future. That's the reason, if you remember, I asked this I asked Murtuza ji, why we are not looking at hybrid model, because world over things are changing now from normal to a hybrid model. Correct. This last slide where I am saying the demand for digital talent for jobs is really very relevant because currently it is 8x. The demand is 8x than what the requirement currently the availability that is, and this is going to increase by 2024 to 20x. So this is something we need to. So there will be a big requirement in digital professionals here. The digital talent jobs will have a major requirement. So with this, I would like to just quickly move to This slide actually talks about 3 eras: pre-digital era, digital era, and post-digital era. So if we divide it and look at from organization structure wise, it was highly centralized. Now it is becoming semi-decentralized. Future will see it as highly decentralized one. Decision making processes also from management driven to management driven with customer input. That is the current trend, and in future we'll see this. It will be in collaboration with the customers. Customers lacked information. Now they are more informed. Future you will see them highly informed. Role of technology. So technology is actually a support function. Now it is moved to strategic function, and this will be a business enabler. We will see this in our next slide, how this spans out. Among disruptive technologies from PCs, now it has moved to internet, mobility and social media. We are looking for more advanced artificial intelligence, robotics, augmented reality, cloud computing, and devices like BYOD. Moving very quickly to, I'm just pushing this for want of time so that I'll keep the time for our general discussion also. So digital transformation, how will you, this slide shows digital transformation is the process of using digital technologies to create new or modify existing business processes, culture, customer experience to meet business and market requirements. It is actually reimagining of business in the digital age. That is what digital transformation is. So McKinsey defines digital transformation as an effort to enable existing business model by integrating advanced technologies. So here actually on digital transformation we may have to split it into 2 words. One is digital, other is transformation. So what is digital transformation? Digital transformation, as an analogy, if you say, it's like a digital pipe where we connect it through an internet or www or web, and then where a transaction happens. But it doesn't stop there. It is basically the pipe has to, I've just elaborated it here, this how the pipes deliver results. Let me explain you on this, what I have written, it is digital technology. For example, we may have a system. A company may come up with a system which is very, not very customer savvy. So the thought is it is better I would have paid, मैं जाकर ही pay कर देता rather than spending time in making the payment digitally. So this is the issue. When we do on the first, we just enable it. That is how it is started with. The enablement was very difficult. Specifically for if you go to education sites, maybe a college or tuition fee, you will find it very, very difficult to at least make the payment. Because you don't know, some or other way you fill all the information, everything, and then again the page goes back. So this is also digitization. But digitization is different from digital transformation. Transformation is when you make these pipes to deliver results. Example is maybe you may go to a Google Pay or maybe a Paytm for a financial transaction where a utility bill payment or any payment, the data is already there. It's 2-click payment, literal sense. So digital transformation is reaching to that level where convenience is there. So I have divided this into, it is not just technology. It is basically adoption or change in the culture of organization. See, we think of a company where we are looking at digitization, where we have created a digital pipe, but it doesn't change there. Unless and until we have, because there are pressures. A company, a small company may look at, where we need to make online payments also as an option. It's not just payment across this. So we make it, but how you make it, how you change it, what is there are so many processes. For example, I am representing a banking industry in a bank. Processes are all processes which are already defined processes. Now somebody has to be a management level discussion where we need to see how these processes can be changed. Example for a risk matrix, a person who is doing risk profiling, who is looking at the the customer's document, whether he is eligible for a loan. So we are used to seeing a document, whether he is there. Now there are so many digital properties available where you can see a CIBIL score and everything can be vetted, and it comes like it's that he is a pre-approved customer or approved customer. So those all are thought processes which we need to change. Look at how we can look beyond the processes which we are already looking at. See, at times from finance angle, from a chartered accountant angle, at times we look at processes which we are looking at. Unless and until I see the document, how can I sign it? But document is only a printout, or maybe something might have written. Unless and until you know whether these inside it is proper or not. So those all things are transformation. We need to look at what are things that will make me comfortable that I am auditing or I am signing this. So those are more important. Is the mindset change. So mindset change is very important in digital transformation. I'll not take too much of time on this. This is here I have elaborated with some examples. What examples of digital transformation in job functions? For sales, it can be the cloud CRM. HR now from in-person training now it has moved to online e-learning. Customer support also has changed from a normal calling, now it has changed. There's a big digital deflection where we are looking at chatbots, or maybe the support portals are there. In addition to that, there are many other areas also. Here I would like to make this more interactive by what all areas I believe we feel in job function which has transformed digitally. If we can take up some area and then we can just make it. So what according to you? So Manoj sir, starting with you only, what all in job function? What all function you feel are getting transformed digitally? Sales, HR, customer support have already written. There are so many job functions which you feel are changing digitally.
So I'll tell you the interesting thing. So in the bond market, earlier everything used to happen through physical. So if someone is raising funds by issuing bonds, all the SEBI approval, the exchange, either BSE or NSE, everything will be on mails. So now from 1st April 2022, they have called a blockchain. So blockchain is actually implemented. They're using DLT. So distributed ledger technology is put in place. So if I have to take an approval as an issuer or as an investor, either ways, I have to log into that DLT system. So they have proper doing trainings and all. So earlier I will send all the documentation, then IC number for that paper security will get generated. Again I will share that IC with all my participants. Then there would be some query from NSE or BSE or whatever things, communications are happening through mail, that everything is through DLT now going forward. From 1st April 22, they have already implemented it.
That's a very good example.
It's nowhere came in news actually.
A related point is that all the SEBI approvals are now given online. The applications are through portal.
Yeah.
And the communication of approval like mutual fund. Even the quarterly report that are filed subsequently, all the compliances are happening.
Yes.
In sales, lead generation part has got completely transformed.
Correct.
Even like now, I think for many of the companies, 30-40% are leads generated online only. There's a link. They will get you will get a link of WhatsApp. You click on that, automatic documents will be asked, details will be asked, and you will get approval on that only. So that physical nature of that salesperson visiting you or taking your documents and etc. has been curtailed to many parts.
I think that's a very good example. And even in the banking industry, if you see, if you want a home loan, you don't even have to visit the branch. You don't need to go anywhere. A link is created. You need to put on all your documents, rate appraisal is done, and your loan gets approved or declined depending on that. Not only it leads to ease of business, but also the gaps which were there earlier, like your KYC was getting misused, even those gaps get plugged, because there cannot be any misuse if it is going directly to the bank. The middleman is actually removed from there.
A panel speaker mentioned about India growth story in his special address.
Okay.
Now you mentioned about now digital India. It was announced by the Prime Minister many years ago. Now practically everything you talk about bond market, you talk about banking, you talk about talent management. We talk about this gives employment to people, whether at the highest level, board level skills, or at the a level of a beginner who has passed his IIT or graduation when he enters and he services the outsourcing business. All that is getting digital. So today, when you get a contract, $100 million contract, outsourcing contract, TCS looks at it. It looks at even $500 million contract. Ready to, they are themselves for digital and also support companies in getting digital. Today, we talked about Salesforce. Arundhati Bhattacharya got involved with that after she left, retired as a chairman of SBI. Focusing on total digital, and you are able to service over $100 million clients. It's all digital. And that's advantage of that is it has helped in significant reduction in cost, improvement in efficiency, and improvement of much delivery. But the biggest advantage is it comes to India, which has the best talent in the world at the highest level and at any level. Our education and training system, whatever we talk about, we evaluate, we discuss, we want to improve, among the best in the world. And in digital also, you are aware, you are looking at a digital function of so many industries, verticals, you have looked at it. In spite of that, our digital, some of the best companies are into it, is among the best. And it's taking leadership roles throughout the world. Right?
No, well said. It's a real.
So I can tell you on the working capital cycle, I have seen one example where, say, a bit like demand, 40 days. Of 40 days, if you analyze, 7 days are going for bill discounting. You go for bill discounting, give it to your HO, from branch to HO, then HO goes to the bank, your bank, then it goes to the counter bank, the other party. And then they approve, and it comes back. And then if you have received, money is received. With blockchain, they have reduced it by 5 days. So imagine if you have a working capital of 10,000 crores, say 5,000 crores, and you have a 40-day working capital cycle. Now it reduces by 5 days. It's actual, tangible money that is coming to you.
Yeah.
No, not that efficiency. It's actually something which you can weigh it with profit and loss.
No, very valid point. In fact, if I don't know whether everybody is aware of Trends as a platform, M1 Exchange MD, I know. So he has started with now Trends as a platform that is mandated by the government, but it's a e-discounting. With GST coming in, we know all the bills and other things. If it is validated, you have to. It has capability. Everybody comes together. You can pay in few hours also. So it has capability. Like you said, blockchain, DLT technology, the distributed ledger technology which you wish. So those all are really giving impetus to. We don't require manual intervention. We have एक बैंक देखेगा फिर उधर भेजेंगे. This is happening in clearing system. Now clearing never used to take this much time. Now clearing is very smoothless. आपने चेक इशू किया. First पहले ऐसा था कि चेक यहाँ से एक बैंक से दूसरे बैंक जाएगा. फिर it used to be 45 days. अगर आउटस्टेशन चेक है. अभी कोई नए पर्सन तो बताएंगे तो he'll be average 45 days. Check presentation, but these are as per years. People have already seen. So these are now NSEH has come. There are many clearing houses and other things, RBI intervention. So these are going now checks वगैरह all, if at all now checks itself are reducing. But checks जहाँ पे गए those are scanned checks. तो एक ही custodian बैंक के पास check होता है, they give the image, and that operation scheme has to be very meticulously devise it and do it. Bankers know this. So the processes are changing now.
Anybody who's lived through the 90s in banking, okay, there used to be a clearing house which is about a kilometer away from here. It used to work during the night. If anybody is aware, one of the big unknown scandals was the interbank reconciliation differences. In the 80s, that difference used to run into thousands of crores. In the 1980s, I am talking about. Okay. This was the unknown scam. Okay. Demand draft issue kar diya, dusre, all was manual. Okay. I used to run retail lending in ICICI. Okay. हम लोग we were not doing too much outstation क्योंकि collect कैसे करेंगे? वो चेक का उसको हमको इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं मिलता था 30 दिन के बाद कि वो चेक डिसऑनर हुआ है. ओके. तो कलेक्शन कैसे करेंगे? ओके. पर्सनल लोन्स हम लोग जब करते थे उस जमाने में 500 रुपए का चेक है, उसको कलेक्शन चार्जेस भी कैलकुलेटेड वुड वर्क आउट टू 70 रुपीज और 80 रुपीज. अनअफोर्डेबल. वी हैड अ चेक पीडीसी फैक्ट्री वी यूज्ड टू कॉल इट. पीडीसी फैक्ट्री था, उसमें एक चेक मिस हो गया, गिर गया. ओके. वो सीक्वेंस में जाता था, एक चेक गिर गया तो पूरा सीक्वेंस चला गया. मतलब आई वुड लूज कलेक्शन ऑफ 3 करोड़ बिकॉज एक 500 रुपए का चेक उस सीक्वेंस में से गिर गया. ओके. फ्रॉम दोज डेज टू व्हाट इज जस्ट सेड. ओके. टुडे देयर इज नो क्लियरिंग. वो क्लियरिंग हाउस बंद हो गया.
नहीं, दिस फ्रैंकली आई एम नॉट अवेयर. एक्चुअली आई एम थोड़ा बहुत अवेयर, बट
ग्रे हेयर का कुछ तो फायदा है.
So actually I'm not aware. I'm just listening.
अभी ऑडिट, आई स्टिल रिमेम्बर सर, ये ऑडिट में जब हम लोग बैंक ऑडिट्स करते थे, इतने मोटे मोटे लेजर्स हुआ करते थे, एंड वी यूज्ड टू चेक इट फिजिकली. एंड नाउ आई रिमेम्बर देयर वाज अ बैंक व्हेन कंप्यूटर्स वर फर्स्ट लॉन्च्ड, देयर वाज अ स्ट्राइक बाय द बैंकर्स. ये क्यों लेके आए हो कंप्यूटर्स? फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे बंद कर दिया, पूरा बैंक बंद कर दिया पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स ने. खबरदार अगर कंप्यूटर्स लाए हैं तो. And so today I laugh कि रोज शाम को बैलेंस शीट आज लेके जाते हैं. And just to close, my point to share with you was, देखो इंडिया को कितना लोग अंडर एस्टिमेट करते हैं, but really we are a very hard working country which works, and जिसके कारण स्विगी, जोमेटो, फ्लिपकार्ट चलता है because हमारे यहाँ लेबर सस्ता है, डिजिटल कितना अच्छा चल रहा है. फ्रांस में कोविड का वैक्सीन का सर्टिफिकेट लेने के लिए पीपल हैव सफर्ड. इंडिया में जैसे हमारा कोविड वैक्सीन हुआ, 1 मिनट में हमें वी डिडंट वैल्यू दैट. हमारे फ्रेंड्स यूरोप में रोते हैं, अरे यार हमको तो फिजिकल लेके जाना पड़ा. वी हैव डन डिजिटलाइजेशन. आज रिलायंस 10 लाख करोड़ का कंपनी है. कैसे हम लोग ऑडिट करते थे अगर इतने मोटे मोटे लेक्चर्स हमारे टाइम पे थे सर?
Biggest milestone was to tally the balance sheet.
हमारा एग्जाम याद आ गया सर कि तुम्हारा बैलेंस शीट टैली हुआ कि नहीं हुआ. ट्रायल बैलेंस, अनिल, ट्रायल बैलेंस टैली हुआ कि नहीं हुआ?
नहीं हुआ तो कैटास्ट्रॉफ.
सॉरी.
It took only 1.5 months to tally the trial.
1.5 months.
Sir, हमने आर्टिकल
4,000 pages.
So I think the oldies can keep going on and on.
But just to add, it is because of this hard work of the past generation and its digitization that the tallying of that balance sheet is no more tally automatically. Software does it, right? But and we are able to concentrate more on the international accounting standards, IFRS, and how the accounting treatment should happen. So thanks to digitization, of course, because at least as of now it's not deciding on the accounting treatment as such.
Correct.
Of course it will proceed to that also as well.
No, I'll take this point. See, Indian stack is very important. Very few people know. I don't know how it is for a know Indian stack. It's a very big architecture on this which all APIs. आज हम लोग इतनी बड़ी बातें करते हैं कि we have so many fintechs. Fintechs are able to survive because of that Indian stack, which is created. We have API ready. अभी जो आधार कार्ड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, all those things are part of India stack.
100 करोड़ कोविड वैक्सीन का सर्टिफिकेट निकल गया. 100
is
करोड़
also
का
under India stack.
पानी का.
So I'm saying we should value that and we should read it. In fact, I would suggest everybody to read. Actually, I don't know the planning commission report that comes. This is actually very interesting. It's very few people, they get insights. Every year it gets published.
These reports are very important.
Maybe blockchain, infrastructure, how it is helping, what India is doing. Although what India is doing is not, if you see the counterparts, maybe China and others are far right, they are already doing it. It's not a forum to compare. But India is doing good. That is what I'm saying. Compared to quite a few things, we feel left out within on digital areas. Quite a few things, the UPI itself is really creating a big thing which nobody might have thought. It's a very small, easy to use kind of.
Which is the next sector which is going to get disrupted by
You cannot say, I'll touch base on those things because nobody knows. This is something, it's all prediction. Concept sector, each and every sector which you feel interesting is going to change. It's your mindset. What you want to change and how you.
More important are which sectors will come into play because of digitization.
The biggest competitor of Air India was SpiceJet, Vista, and all those things. Now, if someone asks who is the biggest competitor of Air India, it might be virtual.
I will come to that topic on IoT. When you will see now, competition is changing. Competition is not like, I'll just see, since we are already in this topic, this is very interesting. Car industry, which you say, the general, although it is IoT or things, Toyota is the biggest world leader. But Toyota's dependencies are general, a normal car is like a dabba. Will anybody purchase a car, even if it's a low-end car, koi bhi model car, if it doesn't have any GPS or it doesn't have indicators and other things, will it help? It's like a dabba. So now, that's the reason Tesla and others are coming. So Toyota is spending a good amount partnering with Google for having all its. See, Toyota as a vehicle is a no. It's I am using again the word. It's a box. So it has engine, it has box. So it's what is important is smart connected devices. So standalone devices will change. So what is the competition, as he said? So is the car manufacturer competition or tech company competition? Nobody knows. So things are changing. We'll come to that topic. That's a very interesting topic. Time permits, I would have taken. So we will move on this. It's a very good discussion in this industry wise also. We have touched base. I wanted to discuss on. I have just highlighted very few selectively: healthcare, hospitality, insurance, and real estate. Important sectors like banking, which we have touched upon. So banking also has changed, starting from ATM, pre-ATM era to ATM era. That's a very primitive. But now, I am talking only about very, very generic things like net banking, mobile banking. These are changing. These are digitally transforming. Now people need not go to branch. Maybe if it's a cash requirement, ATM to कब से आ गया. But now everything is happening through a mobile or from a desktop to net banking. So things are moving very fast. You have a office or a branch in your desktop or a mobile. So these are all things that are changing. Now digital transformation is like KYC. If you see KYC, because bank or any BFSI sector is regulated by KYC. You should know your customers. Then only you can onboard. There is a thumb rule. You cannot open a bank account for anybody unless and until you have KYC. That's a general standard. That's a regulatory thing. Period. So here also now KYC used to be a function where somebody has to go, somebody has to show whether he. So now this is happening with e-KYC coming in. Things are moving very fast. So that is helping. It is reducing cost. Although as and when the refinement happens, we will see a cost reduction. But there are many things that we can talk on this subject. But since it was a banking, so banking also is something which is changing very fast. So when we talk about digital transformation, in short, we have tried to discuss it everywhere. कोई भी area पकड़ो, whichever you think and start discussing, you will find a use case for digital transformation. किसी न किसी तरीके से उसमें digital transformation तो हो ही गया है. Even a shopkeeper से आप बात करो तो shopkeeper will, because he knows, अभी छोटी सी जो दुकान है चाय वाला भी, he goes to उसको रखना पड़ता है कि भाई वो QR है, पैसा हमें change किसके पास है. This is all changing. I initially when I was talking to a consultant who just gave the China presentation. He told I was really Shanghai mein he was just giving he said Shanghai mein beggars have QR code. तब मैं हंसा था actually. This was around 5-6 years back. I was literally विश्वास नहीं होता है वैसा. He said, but now I'm able to see post demonetization we are seeing it. He said pre demonetization time, he said शंघाई में बैगर को पास QR कोड रखना पड़ता है, तो किसने चिल्लर थोड़ी देता पैसा देने के लिए. QR कोड से पैसा लेता है. So it was not, you cannot digest it, na. But demonetization के बाद I am also thinking, yeah, it's possible.
India's poor are very marginally poor. There's hunger and poverty.
नहीं, I'm saying कि I'm just giving an instance. जो मेरे साथ personally हुआ during a discussion when the speaker gave me कि शंघाई में actually you have to have a QR code. Without that आपको beggars को भी पैसा नहीं मिलता. So we were really taken aback, but this is now a reality. I was just pointing out that.
No, India में है नहीं ना. India beggars are doing that.
India beggars मैंने अभी तक तो सुना नहीं. आपने
India also.
लोग ये बोलेंगे कि भाई नोवेल
अभी तक ऐसा हुआ नहीं. You're right.
But the amazing thing is digital transformation. Like you ask for certain products from certain household suppliers like Big Basket and the sorts. The moment you give them back 2-3 products, you have sent the wrong product or you have sent excess or you have sent short, within minutes they are crediting that fellow communicates to the company and you get credit there and then itself. That is amazing. Within seconds. वो दरवाजे पे ही खड़ा है, आपको क्रेडिट मिल जाता है. Yes.
नहीं अभी ये क्रेडिट का तो ठीक है. अभी तो जो Zepto.
Yes, exactly.
I have a this on that also. How they doing it? It is actually artificial intelligence and they have the store.
So
आप कॉल कर दो 15 मिनट आपको डोर पे डिलीवरी मिल जाती है. हाउ देयर बाजू में खड़े रहते हैं.
Whenever wanted to come here today.
ऑर्डर किया और आपको मिल जाता है. So that is also working on a big rail of AI. I have an article here. If you time permit, but I'll surely share. This is knowledge sharing.
If I don't come up with this 10-minute delivery, I'll be out of the market.
You are right. See, I have my own client. He used to make for the biggest brands of the world, but since he didn't keep pace with this technology, they were out.
Nokia is a very big example.
Yes.
Like once upon a time, everyone had Nokia.
Yeah, first, and that was the ultimate brand.
The first phone was Nokia, the first car was Maruti.
Yes.
And now you see how it has happened. So this is an example how Nokia are the
We are talking FOC on WhatsApp. My father used to free of cost. My father used to pay thousands of rupees to talk to his relatives abroad.
1 minute 72 rupees.
That is also 5,000, 10,000 every month.
And there was a time when you used to pay 8 rupees for incoming.
Incoming 16 rupees.
Yeah.
So for want of time, with their permission, I'll move to the next slide. I'll just touch upon. So it is important for us to know when we talk about digital transformation, all these global things is okay. But at least on this inputs which I am sharing is I have attended the digital transformation certification from IIT Bombay. So there are few material which I have taken from there also. So I'm just my intention here is to just give you glimpses of what is digital transformation, what is. So as I was talking to some time back with Mullaji also, I said कि कार तो सबको चलाना आता है, मतलब कार स्टार्ट करने से नहीं आता है, डिक्की बोनट you should know, बेसिकली तो पता होना चाहिए. We say digital transformation as a CA मुझे क्या, तो but without that you close your eyes, you will not say कि अंधेरा है. Things are still, sun is shining. You just closing your eyes doesn't mean that. So this is a reality we should face and we should know at least basic things. As a finance industry, as a finance professional, be it CFO, be it a controller, or be it at any position, you have to evaluate what is coming in, whether it is right or wrong, what are technologies are using. So we should have that. We should make an effort to understand that. We need not get into coding. Coding क्या है? But code कैसा लिखते हैं? ये तो मालूम होना चाहिए. JSON क्या है? What is XML? What all those are file का फर्क क्या है? Whether those are fits in. So these are all at least good to know.
While we talk of digital transformation, there is another facet of it is like people use Tally. Then they start using the inventory option, and what they are buying is not what they are selling. So they are not able to handle it. Those problems also arise out of
There are many
transformation.
problems because digital transformation is like it's a buzzword. Everybody has to do it. But what is required, what is not required, even at bank level it happens. वो जो system है, it doesn't talk to मेरे core banking system है. Then API हर चीज का API you cannot do it. तो उसमें जो लिखा हुआ है, it may be in separate language. There may be a Java language. And something that is written here may be in a totally different
I have
language.
got an audit tool where I can have n number of databases which can be ported into it. Now I don't know all the options. I know very few of them, but they have given us n options. You can import how many types of data into the system. And
Abhi, I'm just giving you as a banker, as a there are fintech companies who come. There is no code. Abhi hai ki no code, but a no code is based on my experience is totally useless for me. No code, मतलब कोई code ही नहीं उसने JSON में दिया है या किसने दिया है, but unless and until it talks to my system. A bank has a centralized banking system called core banking system. So you have to connect and then you have to fetch data and other things. So those integrations and other things requires whether you can do it or you cannot do it. So things knowing what is applicable on what framework we are building, those all is IT work. So, but these are all very important things. I will not take too much time on this. I'll just quickly go on the two important points, IS and IT. So IT is information technology and IS is information system. So when we talk IS, or maybe so it's a single word, but here it's just giving a demarcation for everybody's understanding. So what is IT? It is actually the core technology and infrastructure. And what is information system? It helps in carrying out various business activities. It can be a CRM or other things. So if you see on the left hand side of the stack, information technology is subset of information system. Overall, it is part of business function, and then it's organization, and overall, it is part of business ecosystem. So this is how stack works. So when we talk about information security, so this is a very important, you can say, graph which depicts how the technologies have evolved. So this is good to know that we started with the monolithic or functional systems where it is hard-coded. Any change, for example, a bank might have taken a product from IBM and Oracle. So anything change to be done, a very smallest change, you have to call them, they will only. Even a screw nut has to be changed, it is to be done by that programmer only. Or for example, if you have kept a programmer, he has done a coding in some language. So he only knows what coding is to be done. And problem with technical people is everybody creates their own code. So have the code, so it's like a written where you have to unearth what is to be done. So this is what a monolithic system is. Now it is changing to cloud-based API-ready systems where we know that things are not, we need not be stuck to a system जिसमें जो भी change करना है. So those are called monolithic systems. So we are moving to enterprise level systems, then integrated and extended systems, which will move forward to the collaborative functions, and then it will be a social and ubiquitous kind of function. We will talk about that. Specifically, when you talk about how will it change from hardware, from a software angle, it will be from the computer centered to networked and shared, human centric, and then now device centric. Device centric, when I mean it's IoT. Internet of Things, two devices talking to each other automatically. Humans are not required. So these are all device-centric approaches where we will see. It may be an Alexa, it may be giving an example. So they don't need anything. If they recognize your voice, they do it. Or maybe the automatic system, when you go, when you are not there, the sensors detect you are not in room, light automatically goes out. When you come in, so those are all small IoT things. These are all, it has all intelligence built in. So when you talk about on the downside, if you, I have written this mainframe, standalone PCs, computer networks, internet-based technologies, API, that is Web 2.0, and now there will be sensors, ubiquitous devices, sensors, which will come into. So we are getting advanced too. So things are evolving very quickly. This again is a very interesting slide. We need to, so this slide actually basically is the core. Everything what is the data, when we talk about data information. So there are two kind of information what we have. One is transactional information. So transactional information are basically for building various reports. What are transactional reports? Maybe for a POS machine. POS machine में there are so many swipes, कितना amount का, so those are all transactions. For a bank, online, offline transaction, there are lakhs of transactions per day. उसका data रहता है, then कितना हुआ, settlement and other thing, maybe with Visa, Master, Diners, Rupee, all these happens on a settlement basis. So it is all those transaction data. Giving an example, what is transactional data? So these transactional data ultimately helps in decision support system where we take these are the decision queues, these are the data. One data is for reporting, one data is for looking at what can be done with this. Then there are systems which helps in the knowledge support. So that can be through the automated knowledge support, or maybe which we will see based on various interactions and other things. So I'm not getting into, because this explaining this thing itself for me may take at least 15 minutes if I do it in a structured manner. There are various kind of data, but mainly where I'm trying to, without getting into technicalities, what I'm trying to say in this slide is operational support system, decision support and knowledge support. These are the divisions of information system. How will information system impact? So a strong infrastructure and support system will help us in having a better information system. It will in turn having a smart business which will help in, which will give us a strategic advantage and agility, and ultimately this will make us more competitive in the ecosystem. That's a very simple ladder. It's more of a why we need to. This is something where I want again. This is something that's very important slide for me. I want an answer here कि why information system, why you will invest in information system. अभी हमने इतना we discussed at length ये है, तो now as a decision maker we are all chartered accountant, finance professional. So now we have to, why we should do, what will be the trigger point? This will drive us to get us convinced कि नहीं, digital technology, digital transformation is important.
You look at it, it is the speed of delivery of the final product, what we want, and other is the cost, and at your convenience. Like to just discuss little out of commercial world, even you have a digital mops. So while you are driving on your way home, you could tell the mop to clean up the road by the time you reach your home. So that is like we got audit tool, as I just said. So audit tool processes the entire data within few seconds and gives us all the observations, which otherwise we don't need a team of people to actually drive, and still they might not be successful in actually pulling out that type of information. So all the basically 90% of the dirty work can be done by the system within few seconds at a very nominal cost, for virtually no cost, and we will be having a better result from that product.
Yeah, very valid. So I would like to, at least from that angle, we should have
even to go one step further is I am told there are certain companies which make shoes for you. You have to they will scan your leg, foot, and they will make you exactly what you really need. Not suppose it is few millimeters less or more than the standard size. That will also be taken care of.
Yeah.
So these things are happening.
These things are happening. There's a term for this. N is equal to 1. If you type in Google, you will get. With your permission, if I can start so that I'll just.
Please tell us what is that N is equal to.
N is equal to 1 is a theory where now, if you know what is tail, long tail, if somebody has heard, you can Google it now. So, but what is long tail is, पहले ऐसा रहता था कि everything is produced in mass market. जो भी करेंगे general fit in standardized. Shirt है, ये 5 size है, उसके बाद like he was about shoes. तो shoes के numbers रहेंगे. ज़्यादा किसी का 7 है, 8 रहेगा. कोई अच्छी company he saw here some feedback, he will prepare a 7.5 also. Otherwise we are standard. जो करना है आपको उसी basis पे. Otherwise you have to go to a tailor or you have to go to a merchant. So these are all. So now things are.
Muji doesn't have precision equipment.
No, I'm saying so he does it, but now things are changing. That is called n is equal to 1. So individual is mapped individually. Archana needs this, so we can, because digital can reach everywhere. It can. It's not a general product. इतने सारे लोगों को मैं कैसे product दूँगा? It's all everybody capability. Everybody can. So digital can reach each and every individual at its side. So this is what n is equal to 1. And that is a long tail concept where we see.
So long tail is what? I just can't understand. Long tail is what?
Long tail is actually a main fat रहता है उसके बाद tail होती है.
Right.
So long tail is very long. We don't cater to that. जो मोटा मोटा रहता है जैसे financial
normal
inclusion.
distribution कर्व बनाएंगे तो ये बड़ा रहेगा
If I give example of financial inclusion, इसका साथ करते हैं बैंक और any financial HNI customer, their first bracket, second, third, उसके जो छोटे छूट जाते हैं उनके लिए कुछ नहीं है. So these are all long tails.
Long tail works both sides. It works on the high side, it works on the low side. You take the question of high net worth.
If you total the long tails, that will be bigger than the bout.
No, may not be, but it might be more productive than the in a standard bell curve. Okay, on this side, let's say this side is the high net worth, this side is the low net worth. तो अब ये जो last का part है, okay, maybe in India, the top 1% of the population has earnings above 6 lakhs. Okay, that's the top last 1%. Within that, okay, you will again have a same bell curve distribution.
More of a subdivision.
But granular. So if your service, for example, for us, we cater to the high net worth individuals. So for us, the long tail of the long tail of the long tail is what is relevant. So it's a very, very important concept. It's an extremely important concept.
Reach where no one reaches.
Chris Anderson.
Maybe. I don't know who coined it, but it makes a lot of sense.
It was coined by Chris Anderson.
What?
The long tail strategy is a business strategy of creating significant profits by selling low volumes of hard to find items to many customers instead of only selling large volumes of a reduced number of popular items.
So it can apply to lots of things. It can apply to items. It can apply to how you segment your customer base.
So he said to
Fine.
check.
So Rohit actually.
So maybe if you want, I can pause and because I may not be able to complete, we'll complete his with the permission.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
And also you would like to hear from all the other participants who have not spoken because this is a round table and each one is required to participate.
That's the reason actually I stood up. I thought I'll ask questions from them.
Yes,
but it's better
especially I'm looking for views from the newcomers, the freshers.
Actually, taking lead from Mullaji, what is it? Everybody should speak.
The mentoring forum and
Can we do one thing?
Yeah.
Because earlier quite a time went for office bearers had come for the first time in the first meeting. Starting with you, mention your name, company name and a focus area.
Actually, he wants to be a bit quickly, so we.
No, 1 second.
Manoj, time. What time? Manoj.
Okay. Anupam,
what time?
We are I'm interjecting because I am seeing his
Manoj, good time left. Can we start this? Can we do this later?
इनको बोलने
इनका खत्म हो जाने के बाद अपना प्रोडक्शन
We'll run out of time. कम से कम आधा घंटा लगेगा. If you have 30 people introducing them, so it's at least 30 minutes.
Makes sense.
We'll stop. We will take a break.
When you speak, let me give
You want to sit here?
nobody.
There is no speech. No, there is no speech.
Whatever.
Incidentally, yeah.
But don't interrupt so that
Continue.
all flow.
5:15. Yeah.
There is no speech. It is anyway dependent on people talking and it's based on experience.
So 5:15, Rohit, you are back. 5:15. 5 o'clock. Then we can have on everything. On everything. Go to topics.
Actually, I haven't thought about it.
It's a series, so it will continue, you know.
Yes.
Or it's a series.
मेरे को ये बोला इतना बड़ा होता है इसलिए मैं ये बोल देता हूँ सेवेंटी बोला है चवाई था this one
You only investment advisor. चले.
So actually today's is about a very, very personal experience. Okay. Not about the company. What I was going to talk about, what you're not able to see because of the screen, okay, is preparing for disability. Okay, and this is a hard lesson, okay, that I have learned through personal experience, which I will share. These are things that we use for our clients, and this, as I have said, I've learned through very, very hard experience. So one thing, I mean, we are a group of chartered accountants. Everybody here, by definition, is a chartered accountant, right? How many people in this room have made their wills?
Will.
वसीयत कितने लोगों ने बनाया? 4 लोगों ने बनाया, 30 लोगों में से. अच्छा, बाकी के लोग मरने नहीं वाले? अभी नहीं मरने वाले. अभी नहीं मरने वाले.
अभी सब लोग वेल्थ जमा कर रहे हैं.
नहीं. So the answers we get is अभी मैं young हूँ. अच्छा, भगवान के साथ पैक्ट करके आया कि मेरे को तो जल्दी नहीं लेके जाएगा. Okay, sorry.
Another answer is that the Hindu Succession Act will take care of it.
Right? हाँ, मुझे क्या करना है? मैं गया, उसके बाद जो होगा. So joint ownership and nomination. So today is not about the will. Okay, this has nothing to do. Although I mean, succession is something that I specialize in. Today I'm not talking about the will. I'm talking of a subject nobody talks about. Okay, and we'll come to that. हमारे इंडियन फैमिलीज में क्या है? सेक्स एंड मनी. ये बात करना मना है. क्यों? वी आर प्योर पीपल. सेक्स तो हम लोग होता ही नहीं है, और पैसे के बारे में बात करना गलत है. It's dirty. Money is dirty, right? And there are multiple reasons why people don't make their wills. मेरे पास तो कुछ है ही नहीं. मेरी फैमिली तो लड़ेगी नहीं. बहुत प्यार मोहब्बत से रहते हैं. ओके, जैसे किसी ने देखा ही नहीं. आप तो कोई किसी को जानते ही नहीं है जिन्होंने विल नहीं बनाई, जिनके कोई झगड़ा हो प्रॉपर्टी की वजह से. ओके, so my point is, and it's not very difficult why people don't make wills. Nobody likes to contemplate death. Okay, I mean, India's richest man died without making a will. Okay, I mean, all of us know that. But आज का webinar is not about a will. I'm again repeating. It is not about the will. So then, what is it about? Okay. So I'm going to share a very, very personal experience. This is my own experience. So this date, August 19, 2016, that's roughly 6 years ago. Okay, my life completely changed. At that time, my father was 83 years old. He suffered a major stroke. He had had a series of strokes. On 19th of August 2016, he suffered a major stroke. And he was teetering between life and death. All his bodily functions were impacted. Recognition, I mean, he could not, until today, he is not able to recognize everybody. Okay? Cognition is affected, basically. बात तो करने का सवाल ही नहीं उठता. Okay? मतलब इवन साइन लैंग्वेज से आज भी बात नहीं कर पाते. कभी कभी रिस्पॉन्स, कभी कभी ही डज नॉट रिस्पॉन्ड. ओके, सिग्नेचर का तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता. सो माय फादर वाज कंपनी सेक्रेटरी टिल द डेट ही गॉट द स्ट्रोक. He was company secretary of Supreme Industries. I mean, that's a listed company. He spent 45 years there. Whatever our family is because of the company that he worked for. So one thing happened. Medical attention ensured that he survived. Okay. But कई चीजों में हमको बहुत अफेक्ट हुआ. कई चीजों में अफेक्ट हुआ. I'm just going to talk about some of the aspects that it affected us and what lessons we have drawn and what lessons perhaps all of you can draw for yourselves, for your clients. Okay, I think as chartered accountants, as professionals, even though we may not be practicing, I don't practice as a chartered accountant, we have people expect us to be able to advise even though we may be in industry. I do it for a living, but even people, even people like some of you who might be in industry working for banks, etc. If you tell them you are a chartered accountant, they expect that you would be able to advise them. Okay? And one of the biggest thing that confronted us immediately, okay, as soon as he was hospitalized, okay, so the doctors called us in, he's very serious, okay, ventilator use karna hai ki nahi karna, okay, he might be needing a ventilator, okay, at that time you won't be able to, you won't have time, so I'm giving you 1 hour, decide. 1 घंटा है आपको, 1 घंटा दिया गया है, and I mean, I am myself experienced, so my father is even more experienced. I don't like the word old. Okay. That generation didn't believe in talking about these kind of things. I had never discussed these things with my father. I don't know how many of you have discussed this with your own loved ones. Forget about your father. Right? So, हमको जब वो decide करने बोला तो it was a very, we had no idea what he would have wanted. Okay, उनको क्या चाहिए हमें तो नहीं पता. Okay, decision लेने वाले कौन? So my mother expired long ago. So decision लेने वाले my sister, her 2 children, me, my spouse, my 2 children, 2 of my uncles. I mean, that was the council that would sort of take this decision. And given the paternalistic society that we live in, ultimate decision was left to me as the son. Okay, and that was one of the most difficult decisions that I took, whether to use it or not. And one thing that we realized that might have helped is if I had known in advance what my father would have wanted. I had no clue. We took that decision in a vacuum, right? So one of the first lessons we really learned is that, sure, this has happened with my father. We took a decision, we conveyed it to the hospital, right? But one of the decisions that I took is that this, if it happens to me, my family will not have to go through this much indecision before taking a. My family will know, okay, what I would have wanted. And I think this is critical that you let people know. So I think after this settled down, me, my spouse, my children, we sat down and decided that if something like this happens to us, okay, what would we want? What would be the framework for you to take a decision? Okay, so मेरी quality of life क्या होगी? What are the chances that ventilator के बाद I might live? Okay, and imagine in a normal middle class house, for us fortunately, the money was not an issue. But in the case of a normal middle class house, even for an upper middle class house, okay, I mean this costs like I think 70,000-80,000 rupees a day with no end in sight. एक बार लगा दिया, बंद आप नहीं कर सकते. चालू करने का फिर भी आपके पास चॉइस है कि आप बोल सकते हो कि नहीं चालू करना. बंद करने का चॉइस आपके पास नहीं है. Okay?
Legally?
Yes, 70,000 could be more. 1 lakh could be more, sir. Could be more. Could be more, exactly. मेरी information थोड़ी dated है, sir.
1 lakh है अभी. That too in नानावटी है.
Plug on है. आप बाद में डॉक्टर को बोलोगे कि इसको बंद करो. नहीं, they will not do it.
Band means band forever.
हाँ?
Any reason why they
Because that becomes evincia, na? That is a whole new debate altogether. Okay, let us not go there. Indonesia हो गया ना वो. Okay. So 6 years he is still there.
No, is it legal?
He is very much. We are blessed that he is very much with us. He was not put on ventilator. Eventually, that decision was not needed. But making that decision taught us a lesson.
Is it legally euthanasia?
I don't know, sir. My point is that relevant?
Okay.
Is that relevant? Okay. I think it's not relevant. Let's stick to what is important.
तो 1 घंटे के बाद डॉक्टर का
नहीं वो he improved on his own. Ventilator was not required.
तो luckily
We had conveyed our decision. Okay, but the ventilator was not required. He recovered. He's still very much with us. I mean, affected, cognition affected, movement affected. But it's been 6 years. I mean, that generation is made of tough material.
He's not talking, he's not doing,
He's not talking. His cognition is impacted as well. Okay, and I'm going to share what are the other challenges we went through. This was the first major challenge that we went through.
This itself.
No, last 2 years, a lot of corona patients were put on ventilator and they were probably revived or woke up or got up over it. Is that when doctors would have decided to take it off?
Yes. So it's not. So I have personal experience. Another of my uncles, my father's younger brother, he had a stroke 2 years before my father got a stroke. Runs in our family, and he was put on ventilator. He survived, came out of the ventilator, lived a life of 2 years, and then expired.
So my doctor friend is and he said ventilator पे एक बार corona वाला गया तो 90% chance है he will not come out.
Sir, I think again let's stick to. I think let us stick to what is important. Okay. I think the important thing is we are not doctors. We don't know this, right? Important thing is it is as don't you tell your family कि अगर क्या आप ये बात करते हो. So one of the first things I did after this happened was I prepared an Excel sheet, and now we tell all our clients to prepare an Excel sheet. What you should do if I die.
So what have you written?
I will. No. Wait a minute. I will share. No. There's no. This is because I share it with clients. Okay. So I mean, redacting any of the personal matters. One, of course, there is a listing of assets, etc. That goes into my will. I have made a will. It goes into my. It also talks about how they should handle the affairs. Okay. Who should they consult? Okay. अब investment से मैं देखता हूँ. आज तो मैं देख रहा हूँ. Okay. अब मैं ही नहीं रहूँगा तो कौन देखेगा? Okay. तो किसको कंसल्ट करना चाहिए? अब my family is not. किसको ट्रस्ट करना चाहिए? Okay. For this purpose किसको करना चाहिए?
Executor of the will.
किसी से पैसे लेने हैं, देने हैं. Again, it's all there. Accounts कहाँ जाके मिलेंगे? Okay. ये policies कहाँ रखी हुई हैं? Okay. All these kind of things are very much a part.
खाली ventilator का बताइए क्या करेंगे?
Yes. So that is a personal decision.
So what have you?
What have I decided? I think that's personal. So I mean. मेरा point
So
is
my request is let us go.
Yeah, we are going to
presentation on the forum.
No, it is good. No, these are the questions.
I wanted to know because I'll
You can talk offline.
So the framework. So the framework is this, okay? And I would suggest you read this book by Dr. Atul Gawande called Being
checklist.
Mortal.
So yes, checklist. That is also a good book. Checklist.
The checklist manifesto is different.
There's a lot of
Slightly
debate on
different.
it. There's a lot of debate on this point. So
Absolutely.
later on, I'll talk about it
100%.
personally.
100%.
Yeah.
So one of the first things we do is we prepare this letter of instructions. कि first ये decision लेगा कौन? क्योंकि Indian families में जब पापा का हुआ, मेरे father का हुआ, automatically that role was thrust on me, even though my sister is 5 years elder to me. Okay? क्यों? क्योंकि मैं लड़का हूँ. Okay? अब हो सकता है कि I don't know what my father would have wanted, and now we have no way of finding out. Okay? But at least in my own case, I have made it clear who will take that decision. Okay? My wife has made it clear who will take that decision. We made it clear कि by that time, because आज लिखा है, भगवान न करे ये हो, लेकिन जब होगा, अगर वो जिसको मैंने लिखा है वो भी नहीं है तो कौन लेगा? वो भी नहीं है तो कौन लेगा? Okay, so I think alternates. and what are my views on artificial life maintenance? What would I want? And the framework there, we have used a certain framework. So with clients, what we do is, because clients ask the same question कि मैं decide कैसे करें? Okay, तो decision उसके लिए एक यही framework है कि भाई quality of life, what is important to you, fight till the end. So I mean, just to share because it is important. My father is a fighter. So we decided, we didn't know, but we decided that he would have wanted to fight. Okay, till the end, jo hoga. So we gave a decision ki, you please go ahead. Okay, ultimately it was not needed. Okay, but we had no basis. If he had told us, that decision would have been easier. And imagine the issue with a middle class person where you are playing God. Where you are playing God, when you say that you are now don't use, and money is involved as well, because one of the consequences of don't use is paise nahi lagenge, and one of the consequences of using is saying paise lagenge. Okay, and you're talking of who? You're talking of your spouse, your father, your mother, your brother, your sister. Imagine the pressure on that person who's taking the decision. You have to make that easy for them.
Therefore, this should not be confined only to senior citizens letting their wish known.
आज एक्सीडेंट हो गया, आप कोमा में हैं,
सर डॉक्टर मना करते हैं. मैं आपको पर्सनली बता रहा हूँ, डॉक्टर ने मेरे साथ कहा था कि मत करो, ये वेजिटेबल का लाइफ आप मत कराओ. मैं नहीं कहना चाहता. This is what I just.
So doctors have a certain view. Okay, it will also depend. It will depend. Hospital will have a certain view. I think the decision ultimately is of the concerned person. Now we come to the financial part. Okay, what are the issues we faced with my father, and therefore what are the learnings that we had? Okay, the reason I am sharing this in so much detail because it has. Apart from being a painful experience, it was a hugely learning experience. And I think if we learn from other people's experience, that is better than, learning from your own experience. So just a quick, background on the issues we faced. So my father is a widower. He stays independently. We stayed in the same building. So he stays downstairs. I stay a couple of floors up. He had a staff of 2 people, okay, and a small home office from where he worked. He was absolutely meticulous in his records. I took over his accounts afterwards. I was not involved with his accounting. Afterwards, I took it over. I had no problems with his accounts. Okay, he never used net banking or debit card. Okay. But fortunately, his mobile and email ID were registered with the banks, with the demat accounts, with the broker. Whenever he needed cash, he would sign a check and, the staff would go and withdraw the cash. All payments made to anybody was good old-fashioned checks or cash. All his personal assets were in his name, naturally. He had nominations in place. He had a will, registered will in place. Okay. His only 2 children are my elder sister and I. So basically he was fully prepared. It wasn't as if he had had a couple of strokes in the past. Okay. So it was not that he was not prepared. He kept his records perfectly fine. Okay. But clearly, the nominations and wills didn't help. Why? He's not yet dead, thank God. Okay? So the nominations and wills are not effective at all. Okay? Everything else was in his single name. We had no access to bank accounts, to the securities that he held, to his broking account. So then at that time, I looked out कि ये कैसे होता है, दूसरे लोग भी affected हैं क्या? Okay? जब अपने पे प्रॉब्लम आती है तब जाके लोग सर्च करते हैं, उसके पहले कोई सर्च नहीं करता. Okay? तो जब मैंने सर्च किया कि umpteen number of such cases, unfortunately, okay, unfortunately बहुत cases हैं. I mean, you will see them across high courts. Okay, the law does not provide for this eventuality, unfortunately. Okay, the Indian law has not kept pace. Okay, in fact, worldwide the laws for this kind of a thing haven't really kept pace. What has happened is that we are living longer and longer. Okay, ये पहले कभी ज्यादा होता नहीं था. अब चूंकि you are living longer and longer, the chances of this kind of a thing happening is increasing.
So this is true now. This
Which one?
why it is allowed to.
So you have to go to the High Court.
So it's not
if
allowed.
It's allowed. You have to go to the High Court. You have to get. So it's a very. I'm covering that.
So the court order will make it operational.
And it always comes with a lot of riders. I'm going to cover that rider. There are many decisions. Almost all of those decisions refer to this landmark decision of the Kerala High Court. In the case of Shobha, I would not know. I didn't go to court.
That is
I mean,
most important.
हिंदुस्तान में कोर्ट के लिए एक हिंदी फिल्म में बहुत फेमस डायलॉग था, तारीख पे तारीख.
But it depends. अगर CM का केस है
वो तो राजमेल.
So incidentally, we all know कि जो previous CM थे, उनके फादर की जब विल प्रोबेट हुई, उसमें कितनी दिक्कत आई. Okay, I think so.
Yeah.
It does not help too much. Dispute नहीं होगा तो जल्दी हो जाता है. Dispute होता है तो it takes time. So these are the guidelines. You asked about what conditions the court lays down. The Shobha Gopal
एक लेडी का हस्बैंड कोमा में है या हस्बैंड या वाइफ या कोमा में है या हस्बैंड जो है.
So these are the
So can they
guidelines.
go to the bank and say let us operate? No.
You have to get an order from the High Court. It's not mine.
पहले आपका बचा था इसलिए आपको दिया. उसके बाद मेरा.
So first one is the guardian has to collate the property details in respect of which they want to be appointed as guardians. Okay. Then the High Court appoints a medical board. Okay, that must include a neurologist. Okay. Then after the medical board gives an opinion, you have to be visited by a tehsildar level, and each one of you who understands what each of these processes means in India. Okay, some of a level of a tehsildar or a collector or a deputy collector, वो report करेगा कि ये relatives हैं जो guardian बन रहे हैं, वो बराबर हैं कि नहीं, उनका financial condition क्या है. Okay, person seeking to be appointed as a guardian has to be a close relative, preferably a legal heir. Okay, then you don't know, but every district has a social welfare officer. Okay, in Bombay there are different social welfare. ये सब चीजें जब हुआ तब पता चली. Okay, उसको notify करना पड़ता है. Okay, अगर dispute हो गया, okay, if me and my sister didn't agree, okay, तो फिर मतलब if I applied for being a guardian, she can object. If she applies, I can object. Court anyways reserves the right to revoke guardianship already granted. हिसाब देना पड़ता है कोर्ट को, हिसाब देना पड़ता है आपके अपने पैसों का. ओके, आपके अपने मतलब हैं, आपके जिनके भी हैं जो कोमा में हैं, उसका हिसाब कोर्ट को देना पड़ता है. मतलब each of these processes you know what that means. Okay, and then you know that registrar general will file these reports etc. पेशेंट को स्टेट से बाहर ले जाने के लिए कोर्ट का अप्रूवल चाहिए. जैसे वो पेशेंट नहीं हो गया, क्रिमिनल हो गया.
Guardians right to dispose of property or
They do. Subject to the court approval, they do. तो इस जो भी केसेस मैंने देखे आप गूगल में सर्च करिएगा, ये प्रेजेंटेशन भी मैं शेयर कर दूंगा. They allow you to, but it is subject to the court.
Yeah, but they might allow you because you don't become owner of that proceed.
पैसे तो उन्हीं के हैं ना, वो alive हैं अभी तक, but you are allowed to use the proceeds. So in fact, most of the cases they were allowed to use the proceeds.
सर दो बातें आती हैं, एक तो ये बैंक अकाउंट है तो ज्वाइंट करना चाहिए.
एक मिनट सर, एक मिनट. I am giving solutions. I will tell you what solutions we came up with. So this was clearly not something that was working for us. Okay. And my father anyway was not comatose at any point of time. He did have some cognition. Okay. So very clearly he was not the famous thing, jugaad. Okay. And here is the story of the jugaad that we did and what we learned from that jugaad. तो आपने कहा बैंक. Okay. तो अब ये तो सिंगल बैंक अकाउंट था सर. जॉइंट में प्रॉब्लम ये है, आप ये समझ लीजिए, जॉइंट इज नॉट इजी. ओके. मोमेंट यू डू जॉइंट, यू डू आइदर और सर्वाइवर. ओके. जब तक आप सही सलामत हैं तब तक उसने पैसे निकाल लिए जिसको भी जॉइंट रखा है आपने. ओके. तो क्या करेंगे? यू हैव लॉस ऑफ कंट्रोल. You want to give up control even when you are alive, even when you are well. Okay. There is always a trade-off to any decision you take. Okay. So coming back here, in the first bank, we just activated the internet banking. Okay. Because fortunately, the email ID and phone number was registered. Online गए, activate कर दिया. OTP वहीं आता है, वो डाल दिया. जॉइंट अकाउंट नहीं, सिंगल अकाउंट उन्हीं के नाम से चल रहा है. आज तक बैंक को तो मालूम भी नहीं है कि इट्स ऑल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक.
इंटरनेट बैंकिंग के लिए मेरी बैंक फॉर्म साइन करने के लिए,
सॉरी, ये वाली बैंक में ऑनलाइन हो गया. ओके. इस वाली बैंक में हो गया. ओके. इनफैक्ट एज आई मेंशन्ड दैट, सॉरी,
I have a very small query. Activate through email, but for that we need to know password of his
email. That fortunately, because in the case of my father, okay, see, your mobile is the key to your treasury. Okay. Even if you don't know the password, you do forget password. Okay. Where will the OTP come?
Mobile.
It will come on the mobile. तो डाल दो, फिर जो पासवर्ड डालना है कर दो. तो ये डिस्कवरी तब हुआ सर. ओके. आई मीन एक चीज समझ में आया कि ये तो ठीक है, हम लोगों ने तो किया है विद ऑल गुड फेथ, बट योर मोबाइल इज द की टू योर ट्रेजरी. ये तब समझ में आया. ओके. कि आपने अपना मोबाइल किसी को दे दिया और उसको आपके बारे में कुछ कुछ पता है. ओके. यू आर इफेक्टिवली हैंडिंग ओवर योर फाइनेंशियल लाइफ टू हिम. It was frighteningly simple to get access to that bank account. Okay, there was no form required. Somebody was mentioning a form required. In that particular bank, there was no form required. In the second bank, of course, and that was the main bank. Okay, both me and my sister, we went to the bank, and that had his demat account and everything. And we told them that this is the position. I have not used any pull, anything, but very clearly, because we had been with the bank for quite some time, they added both me and my sister as joint holders in the bank account and in the demat account as well. In the demat account, they added me as a signatory, as an authorized signatory, based on a power of attorney that my father had executed years ago. Okay. For some reason, he had executed a power of attorney in my favor. Based on that, they did that. उसके लिए rules हैं RBI के. तो बैंक का ऑफिसर घर पे आया, पापा का सिग्नेचर लिया उस फॉर्म्स पे. सिग्नेचर मतलब थंब इम्प्रेशन लिया. तो and then he signed saying it has been done in my presence, etc. Okay. And then we were added as joint holders in the bank account. And in the demat account, I was added as an authorized signatory on his behalf.
सर वो पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी नहीं होता तो तकलीफ हो जाती.
वो भी हो जाता, because afterwards for some things we got a different power of attorney executed. तो उस टाइम पे एग्जीक्यूट करवा लिया वो पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी विद अ थंब इम्प्रेशन हो जाता। ओके, थर्ड बैंक था पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक। मतलब आई नो एवरीबडी इज फीलिंग कि वो नहीं हुआ होगा, इनफैक्ट दैट वाज द स्मूथेस्ट। आए नहीं वो घर पे, वो अलग बात है, वो आने में 1 महीना लगा दिया उन्होंने। ओके, लेकिन एक बार आए उसके बाद इट वाज द स्मूथेस्ट। वो आए, उन्होंने उनका थंब इम्प्रेशन लिया, उसने जो भी ब्रांच मैनेजर खुद तो नहीं आया, किसी को भेजा, उसने साइन कर दिया, हो गया। Everything was done on that basis. The thumb impression in front of a bank official. DMAT, which was the major thing, my signature was added based on that power of attorney. And then obviously his thumb impression on the approval.
Well, just one data point I want to add that once you have access to the bank accounts, you will operate. The assumption from the bank side is as if he is operating. So therefore, this works when the person is alive. If the person is gone and you continue to operate, legally it is illegal to operate.
No, there is no law in fact. That there is no law as long as you are paying your taxes. As long as you pay the taxes, what law says that you cannot operate? What law says you cannot operate? So let's discuss that separately. Right now, let's just talk of the steps. Okay, that we took just for learning. Okay, each of the things that we did is amenable to huge fraud. Okay, so I'm absolutely okay. So these are things that you think through before you even do it for yourself or you recommend it to clients, and I will share what our clients did. What this did is that it sparked off this thing कि हमको क्या करना चाहिए। हमारे लिए तो कर लिया, अब खुद के लिए करना है, क्लाइंट्स के लिए करना है। So best way that we decided was that we can have a conditional power of attorney. If something like this happens, okay, then I authorize so and so, so and so, so and so. Okay, in many places it's called continuing power of attorney, CPA बोलते हैं. Okay, इंडिया में ये लीगल है कि नहीं किसी को भी नहीं मालूम. I have met almost 3-4 top lawyer firms. Okay, किसी को नहीं मालूम कि ये लीगल है कि नहीं. Because the issue is that a power of attorney is valid.
That is very
only
specific.
No, it need not be specific. You can give a general power of attorney. See, when a person who gave power of attorney dies, the power of attorney holder automatically is gone. The contentious point is that when the person who gave the power, if he himself is unable to contract, can his power of attorney holder be able to
Indian contract like 1872 says if he is a lunatic or if he is a person
that way.
incapable of entering contract, that will become null and void.
So ये इतना सिंपल नहीं है जितना ये मतलब ये देखा है. Okay, इतना सिंपल ये नहीं है. There are case laws around this. Practical ये है, it works. In practice it works. हाँ सर, legal है कि नहीं पता नहीं. Okay, practice में it works. Where does it work? हमारे केस में whenever we went to the bank, always me and my sister went together. Okay,
that is given the
so that gives the bank the comfort कि भाई इसमें झगड़ा नहीं होगा, हम लोग इन्वॉल्व नहीं हो जाएंगे इसमें. So I think if all the heirs, and we were the only 2 legal heirs. Okay, so because of that probably it worked. और कोई एक्सपीरियंस है नहीं, शायद हमको करना भी नहीं है और कोई एक्सपीरियंस. ओके, बट इट वर्क्स. आई मीन I've spoken to lawyers. It works in practice. What we are doing is we are getting clients to execute power of attorney. Okay, what is unconditional? Unconditional is कि even today you have the power. So what we are finding is that spouse को देना है तो लोग दे देते हैं. We have found that our clients are very reluctant to give an unconditional power. कि even मेरे senses में हूँ मैं, okay, तभी भी आप मैं मेरे spouse को छोड़ के कि मेरे बच्चों को मैं पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी दे रहा हूँ, ओके, वो थोड़ा सा हेजिटेंसी होता है लोगों को, ओके. One of the roles we play as a confidant of our client, okay, one of the roles we play is making sure that these hesitancies come out in the open. क्योंकि ये मन में तो होता है, ओके, उसको बाहर लाना ये हमारा काम, ओके. Immovable property है तो power of attorney cannot work without registration.
I've done a probate, sir, Bombay High Court with the
Probate is on death, sir.
Probate is also a headache, and even living comes in
Wait, so let's talk about this, okay?
Yeah, we want to listen to you.
So, on the second point, the assumption that the power of attorney is granted when the person is all right.
All right. Yes.
Absolutely. Yet, so what does the second part mean? If the grantor is no longer
capacity to contract, अभी कोमा में है, so कोमा में है, so that is what he just said, right? The Indian Contract Act says that if the person who gave the power of attorney is incapable of contracting, his attorney is also incapable of contracting. Okay.
So null and void हो जाते हैं ऐसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. ऐसा लॉ बोलता है.
पहले वाला जो
कानून ये है.
नहीं, बट यूज कब कर रहे हो?
जब यूज कर रहे हैं ना, उस दिन अगर वो इनकेपेबल है तो नल एंड वॉइड ऐसा वर्ड यूज किया है, तो ये एग्रीमेंट नल हो गया ऐसा.
Can I request members? See, we have a very limited time, and if we decide to no, what I request is that this is a case study discussion.
Then we discuss would be better.
Because we don't let's complete. This is a case study, so there could be multiple legal points.
We will miss something. I mean, it's not a 3-hour lecture now.
Please. Sir gave a very brilliant thing कि ये कानून है, but कुछ उन्होंने जो practical बताया वो different है.
Let us hear out.
Let's hear it out and then
First, very interesting and unique topic.
Let us ask doubts if there are.
We are not able to finish the lecture.
What you could do is you could probably write it down, and then maybe we can discuss.
Yeah. So these are very nice things. You are saying something very
not
different.
nice.
I mean, these are
essential. No, this is essential.
I mean, what he is saying is law, and you found a way that is overcoming that.
So even the law is not as clear as he is saying.
Something very different is coming out. If you're,
so in practice there are states in which you don't have to provide a will, for example. This is outside today's syllabus. Okay, based on a registered will, properties are being transferred. Just based on a registered will, without any letter of succession or without any probate. So, bank accounts, you can do joint bank accounts, I think somebody mentioned, but that has control implications. Okay. And these are not as unimportant as they sound. I think increasingly, okay, you see people who've been, even with spouses, people still have issues. So with children, so definitely issues hote hain. The other thing is joint holding does not help in the case of demat bank accounts because demat accounts because वहाँ पे दोनों के signature चाहिए होते हैं. तो either और का concept नहीं है demat, नहीं है, और property में भी नहीं है. अगर joint property भी है, दोनों तो ये situation है तो बिक नहीं सकती property unless there is a power of attorney. So हमने क्या किया था कि what we say is, if you have a demat account with a broker, क्योंकि आपने already power of attorney दे रखा है broker को to sell order वो phone पे ले लेता है, तो उसने sell कर दिया. Based on that power of attorney he sells, money comes into the bank account you can access.
और इंटरनेट बैंकिंग में भी हम
वही इंटरनेट बैंकिंग में हो जाता है. Okay. But these are the workarounds that you come up with.
But once the broker is aware that his client has expired, they don't get
expire बात ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. Sorry. Expire का बात ही नहीं कर रहे हैं.
गया है तो इंटरनेट से उसको नहीं मालूम पड़ेगा.
नहीं, एक्सपायरी वाला बात ही नहीं करेगा. ये कोमा वाला बात हो रहा है अभी तक. इसीलिए मैंने शुरू में कह दिया था कि वो बिल वाला इज अ कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट सेशन ऑल टुगेदर. ये सेशन कोई ये चीजें बहुत कम लोग इसको यूज करते हैं.
This is actually problem area.
And I am covering it today because of what happened to me. Okay. I mean, otherwise, I doubt I would have known so much about this. So, I mean, either you go to that court and get that committee appointed and go through that, या ये Indian जुगाड़ करो. Okay. Indian जुगाड़ is only advised if all heirs are working together.
Yes.
Okay. वरना you imagine कि suppose I was doing this without involving my sister or my sister was doing this without involving me, बाद में क्या होगा क्या? Today we are doing it together.
So that all banks help.
ये इसका जवाब कौन दे सकता है सर? ये कैसे मालूम?
नहीं तो फिर हम लोग कैसे अप्लाई करेंगे?
ये पता चलेगा.
Depends. मतलब
I think
sir, you go ahead.
Sir, please go ahead. Please go ahead because we have positive of time. We'll take questions in the end.
Jointly together is very, very important. Okay. So what are the things we have incorporated for our clients? Okay. Mobile. Okay. I think access to the mobile. और आजकल वो फेस रीडिंग हो गया, वो पैटर्न रिकग्निशन हो गया. So one of the first things we did, much reluctantly, that I did was I told whatever was the pattern etc. that I used on my mobile to my wife. Okay. Now that you know is a little risky. Okay. Okay. I imputed her fingerprints also as my fingerprints so that she can open the mobile. Vice versa also. Okay. But I mean, this is a huge vulnerability. One of the things I realized, अब मेरा mobile phone अगर आधी घंटा off signal है तो I get frantic. बाजू वालों को पूछता हूँ भाई आपका भी नहीं चल रहा है क्या? Okay. This is the other important thing. You use things like LastPass. They are called, password access, password vaults होते हैं. LastPass है बहुत है. I mean, you go Google. LastPass is the one that I use. It's a free service. There are paid versions of it.
In fact, browser itself is very safe. If anybody is using Edge browser, that itself is sufficient. I use Edge browser.
Not my area of expertise. So I just went. I mean, I was told LastPass is good. I looked at LastPass. I liked it. I've been using LastPass since then. And so one of the first things we did was executing the power of attorney. Okay. In our case, I have executed it unconditionally. Okay. The other thing we do is because in Demat accounts, the joint holding will not work. So one of the things we've done is on Demat accounts, I've given the equivalent of the Demat slip signed. It's like a blank check.
Yeah.
Okay. Incidentally, this is an increasing problem for people who get old. Okay, people are not able to sign. Their signature changes. So this is not as uncommon. You don't have to go into a comma for not being able to sign. Okay, my father in fact had problems signing even before he got the stroke.
Parkinson's.
No, he didn't. Fortunately, he didn't have anything, but he had a couple of strokes. Thoda. Signature change. Okay. So I mean, having a trusted person is very important, and in this world that we now live in, okay, who to trust is an increasingly difficult thing to answer for all of us. I mean, I think the best way to do this is who do you trust? Okay, because you are trusting with everything that you have. Okay, and it's a very interesting answers clients give when you do it for yourself. Okay, and you find evaluating persons you consider very closest to you, your spouse, your children, okay, and then you are asking yourself, can I do this? Can I sign this? And it's a very interesting conversation you are having with yourself, okay, and imagine fostering this conversation for your clients. ये खुद का कर रहा हूं, कम से कम मेरे माइंड में तो है, क्लाइंट्स का कर रहा हूं, उसको फॉस्टर करना. So that is the difficult task that people like us do. Immovable property is still difficult to sell. Even EOA भी होगा, registered भी होगा, तो पता नहीं ऐसे condition में whether the buyers will buy or not.
Yeah, you will be worried for the dispute happen.
Exactly.
So what do you mean by activated?
Okay. Best bet is trying to act. So already registered जैसे मैंने कहा EOA रखा है, okay, तो उसको activate मतलब उसको use कर लीजिए. So I think the biggest role that advisors can play, okay, is ये discussion करा रहे हैं. I mean, my role here today, I am not advisors to you, but my role today is to think about this. This happens to people like us. It has happened to me. Okay, it does. दूसरों को होता है. वो जो cases हैं जो मैंने दिया है, वो भी हमारे जैसे लोग. Okay, you need to think about this. If I have not scared you enough, okay. Very important on artificial life maintenance procedures. Somebody had a question there. I think who's attending. If we have time, we'll take the questions. Okay. Preparing the clients and the families to face disability or any other uncertain events. I think that is very, very important role that you play. And of course, legacy planning and succession planning services, which is completely different. Okay. This is, I'm done. And I hope all of you are sufficiently scared.
Sir, I have one query.
For him, it is life query, yes.
My mother is suffering from Alzheimer's. She is not able to sign. And we cannot, tell anybody that she is in position to take a decision or any organization. She is not in a state to, sign any legal documents or take any decision. So in such case, how we should?
So as per for the bank accounts,
even property.
So for bank accounts at least, so the bank accounts, there is a clear RBI instruction. Okay, she can withdraw, she can, do you have a power of attorney by any chance? Okay, but you can get a power of attorney executed with a she has cognition, right?
He has cognition, but he can't recognize me.
So then she does not have cognition. Then it is a problem. Then it is not cognition. There is a problem. There is a problem. So you look at all the jugaad things that we have, but just make sure, okay, that all the possible heirs are involved. Okay, because otherwise you are landing into trouble later on. Property also. Immovable property अब बाद में ही होगा, मतलब अभी कुछ करना उसमें possible नहीं.
Roongta, I had a practical situation where my client, which is HNI, he signed quite a few checkbooks and gave me. फल में उड़ गया तो पैसा तो लॉक नहीं हो जाए. But before anything I could do, all the legal went to court. So all his planning was useless at that point of time.
You talked about security, demat account and the bank account. The bank account, joint operator and operator. Demat is mutual fund, I guess, is like either
joint name.
Same thing. So mutual fund also the same problem. Okay. Mutual funds can be held as a demat, in which case the demat rules apply. If it is held in the non-demat form, okay, then on paper, okay, if you want to physically withdraw, okay, you need signature of both parties. Okay, but now so many electronic platforms are there, and electronic platforms means OTPs. Essentially, electronic platforms essentially mean OTPs. So I come back to using your mobile. So all movable assets you can move using your mobile, using that person's mobile. But my advice is that वो भी अगर स्पेशली ऐसा कंडीशन है जैसे मेरे फादर का कंडीशन है, आप अपनी मदर का बता रहे हैं, make sure all heirs are involved in that decision, because this is tomorrow you can be accused of fraud, okay, and it will be very difficult for you to prove that you didn't commit fraud, okay, कैसे करोगे आप? Okay,
He will be part of
today now we are withdrawing money to spend on him, okay, if we were not doing it together, okay, how will I prove that this money that was withdrawn, okay, was indeed used for his care? Okay, so this is an invitation to trouble. Joint account नहीं रखा, joint account है, तो फिर उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम? Property में कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. Property you have to wait, unfortunately.
लोग बिल क्या क्या बना लेते हैं.
विल क्या काम आएगा ना सर, जब तक डेट नहीं होगा विल कैसे काम आएगा?
वो सब अंगूठा लगा के नोटरी को बुला के
It doesn't work any longer. गए दिन गए.
नोटरी साइन किया, अंगूठा मारा.
Those days are gone.
अभी आधार पे लगाना, अभी तो आधार पे थंब लगाना पड़ता है.
हाँ?
अभी आधार पे थंब लगाना पड़ता है. They validate everything.
सर नोटरी नहीं छपा, नोटरी के
होता है, नहीं होता है.
कि आप solve
If it is
करो.
again if it is challenged, it will be tough.
If it is challenged, if it is not challenged तो निकल जाता है.
फिर बिल चाहिए क्यों? तो फिर बिल चाहिए क्यों?
तो सोसाइटी नहीं मानेगी.
नहीं क्यों, लेटर ऑफ सक्सेशन ले लो ना आप जाके.
वो कोर्ट में टाइम लगेगा सर.
Yeah, see, in line with our beliefs for the study circle, I would like to invite all the new participants to please share their views. Post that, we will have the continuing question and answer session.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, request you to share your views. Whoever has not spoken, please introduce yourself and then share your views.
Hello everyone, I cleared my CA a couple of years back, just before the pandemic. Currently, I'm working at ICICI Bank as a deputy manager in the planning department.
Okay.
I read about it online, so I just wanted to be a part of it. It was really fun. The PPT was quite helpful actually. I was taking down notes, so I will go and discuss with my father as well. Yeah, it's been a fun session.
You can see the hand.
And would you like to be a speaker?
Yeah.
And mainly your good name, sir.
Puneet Sonpal.
Yeah,
Puneet Sonpal. Welcome.
Hello.
Sir, you would like please.
You can sit and discuss.
I think everybody can go in line.
Yeah.
Start
Sure.
from
I
Manoj,
think
sir.
2-3 persons had not
Start
spoken,
from
so I thought I would invite them first.
Let them speak. Let them take the young
From this side.
Yeah, so I'm Umang Pare and I'm working with Ashika Stock Brokerage as an equity research analyst. So since I cleared my CA, I've been working in this as an equity research. Earlier I was working with GST Security and now I'm working with the buy side. I'm a buy side analyst. Yeah, and with respect to this session, it was very informative, fun session, and looking forward for each and every session. And with respect to being a speaker, maybe after a couple of months, because I'll be a participant, and then definitely I would like to be a speaker.
Thank you, Umang. I'd like to hear more from you.
I'm Milan Shah. I'm working with Eric here as Deputy GM Finance. I have been attending the sessions previously also, pre-COVID physical session, and again I'm back to this. My interest is in personal finance, taxation, and investment capital. I look forward to topics on this. Hi, I'm Vijay Media. I'm working with a company called I look after the family part and part, and I've been there in this kind of setup for around 10 years now when it started. As you mentioned in the number, making up to the gap of now again we are back.
Welcome to Shah.
Just to
He's leaving off.
So leaving, my wife is coming, so I can't make her wait. Otherwise, my Sunday will be spoiled. We can understand. So, anyway, my name is Prakash Bhatia. A part of the basically group we are there.
and participated in many things. It was privilege. Actually, I was not able to, join early, and I was thinking whether to come or not. But when her sir is coming, I cannot refuse, and I cannot afford to come miss the lecture. So that's why I come today. And very good session, sir. And definitely it is privilege for us to listen to you. We read lot of your articles in the paper, and it is our, I think, our privilege to have you on the board. Thank you.
And this is our first lecture, I think, after so many years, Manoj Bhai,
That we are having again in WRC. And so thanks to WRC authorities and Manoj Bhai for coordinating with them.
No, I'm not lies.
And so, okay, whosoever have coordinated.
And I think we will have more better facility over here, and we will have more lectures.
Excellent by Rohit Patoria also. Great presentation.
Thank you. Okay, I have not. I missed the people who have spoken before I came. So,
Sunil.
Yeah, I'm Sunil Bani, and I started my career with NDC. I was that one. For last 3 years, I'm partnered with NDC, mainly advising financial service sector on regulations and taxation. I'm Aditya Agarwal. I'm working with Bank of America at audit.
I need no introduction. So I have done.
मेरा हो गया.
Sir का हो गया.
My name is Archana Moghe. I'm chartered accountant, certified fraud examiner, CFE, and also done CISA. I'm working with Hdfc Bank as a unit head and in fraud detection and prevention. And I've got around 22 years of experience. I worked in the capital markets also with Bombay Stock Exchange in surveillance and investigation, and now I'm in the banking industry. And a warm welcome. I hope all of you like the session, and I'm looking forward to making this more interactive, and so that all the answers can get more and more out of it. And just to mention, around 6 years back, I had attended this session in the same, adjacent room, which is a round panel discussion. I think Manoj wanted that we should get that room, and the idea is each person is a speaker, and each person gets a chance to express his views, raise questions, and that's the reason that it's called a roundtable conference. That was the concept. So I hope we are able to carry out more of these interesting sessions again and again.
I'll just add one line. Archana, in your humility you have mentioned. Archana incidentally is an award winner of ICAI Central Council for Members and Industry Professional Achiever Award for the banking sector, and she joined the Roundtable Conferences group many years ago. Always quiet, always humble, and it was happened like that. Can you take up a topic? And she took up a topic. She was a speaker, and there was a time. Can you file a nomination for the award, Central Council? So Archana said, "You want me to recommend somebody for the award? So I'll think about it." I said, "Recommend, you're always welcome. Would like you to file nomination. I'll consider it. I liked it positively." And after a couple of days, "Are you serious? Shall I file?" So we said certainly, and she filed, and she is one of the few people who have got on merit that award. No fixing, and no influencing, no lobbying, and not only that, it's a matter of pride for the profession. After that, also, Archana has been nominated as a co-opted committee member for Central Council on some of the best committees under merit by the presidents, and it is not once. If one president does, it is something great. But if a series of presidents do, and it is multiple presidents who have put her, and she has contributed to the India growth story in a big way. ICAW, she saw the map, and which was distorted. Within the same day, thanks to her communication to the International Relationship Committee, that map was correct. So, and I mentioned about ICI, there were many, last few years, many experts were not coming. So we got a request from them, where are the experts? Why they are not coming? So it just happened. The office bearers who came here, they requested, and it happens here. Today we have got more than 20 senior level experience as we have shared in this room, and there are many who have connected through the technology also. And there was a time people who are requesting, please, we want to join the roundtable group, and they try to cap it. And even director level people, it happened. Yeah.
So, hi everyone. My name is Yogesh Apute. I'm working with IndusInd Bank in Treasury, non-SLR side, so debt capital markets. Preliminary working in origination and placement. So I originate the debt, I place it through investment modes. So one hand of my side is banks or institutions, mutual fund, insurance. So all of them, they have cash, so they want to place. And my another side of hand is those who wants to borrow through bond market. So I try to intermediate to them on behalf of the treasury of my organization. This is a preliminary role which I do. So by virtue of my role, I happen to talk every day with most of the fund managers, most of the CIOs of almost all the mutual funds, most of the insurance companies. I happen to talk several family offices also, because although we don't trade in retail, but on my personal request, it's allowed that I can trade a bond of 20-30 lakh rupees. So quite a few trades I did like that, which is not a routine transactions, but I do that also. I am with IndusInd since last 6 years. Before that, I was with Axis for 5 years. Academic side, I am also chartered accountant. I was a rank holder in final exams. I was 14th rank, and I did my PhD in capital adequacy. I did some executive educations from IIM Ahmedabad also. I think this is good enough. Good enough. So the important thing is what I do every day. Academics is something which is.
A couple of more things besides being deep knowledge on treasury and earlier risk management. Dr. C.A. Yogesh Sapute, PhD on Basel, right? Done after a lot of research, and also ICAEW, and lots of more qualifications. And
So I did my post graduation in statistics. So when everybody was doing this plain BCom or LLB, I was doing statistics.
And besides that, Central Council publication Guide to Bank Audit started with a chapter. Now more and more chapters are being added, including foreign currency management.
I am more focused on treasury only and FX.
So lots of expertise in this. Lots of expertise. And among the people watching.
He is very strong in academics.
So,
very strong.
so day before yesterday I
Now,
closed.
now deal making also.
Day before yesterday we closed Punjab National Bank. It has raised 2,000 crores. So I was one of the arrangers.
Oh, very good. तो अभी academics बात हो गया, अभी as Manoj sir said अभी cash.
Cash. उसी में cash हो रहा है.
So anyways, I have a huge pipeline. Till the time deals are
So
not
he's
getting
cashing his
closed.
education now.
So now he is cashing his education.
We have some of the sharpest minds in the world finance industry here. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. My name is Anupam Petkar. So I work in a bank as a credit manager for some time with ICICI Bank. Work as a CFO for a manufacturing company. So recently working as a deputy CFO for a reinsurance, so a composite broker. So mainly presently handling the credit control for reinsurance since last 2 years. And of course, as someone was saying, this group is something I would like to know more and more people to join, and I will request those who are here to know, please introduce, because I also was introduced by someone to this group, and I will say I did one presentation. So I'll say I can say confidently that I'm the product of this group, and this group actually just some time back said Roundtable conference give me an opportunity to how to meet board members, how to present at the senior levels. So it all started with here. So I think those who have joining for the first time or after a long time, please introduce anyone more.
That's a great platform.
I am Anil Sharma. I am colleague of Roongta ji and Manoj. We all done articleship together. And we are from the time we have been doing making trial balance this tally. So we have traveled a small distance from there. struggling with the transformation to technology, digitalization. And we have quite a few clients in the traditional practice.
I think what Anil is, I mean, apart from being partners in crime, one of the things that Anil isn't saying is that he used to head the JV Nagar.
Yeah, I was a convener of JV Nagar studies.
JV Nagar studies circle, which I think is the largest study circle in India.
And they imitate us. Imitation is the best form of flattery. They try to imitate us in getting capital market, but so far they cannot match it. In fact, some of the speakers can't even answer basic questions. On the budget or on the capital market, they can't do it. But
end of the day, it matters कि dollar चलता है. अमेरिका क्या इंडिया से
डॉलर ही चल रहा है सर. डॉलर इंडेक्स 20 ईयर हाई 107 क्रॉस हो गया है. तो डॉलर तो चलेगा. Dollar is the strongest currency.
I'm also a doctor. PhD in South African state markets. That's where I worked the most in Comesa region, common markets of East and South Africa. Originally, I was into stat audit, then I came to industry and I worked in Gulf, Europe, Caribbean, where we also residing. And then I worked 7 years into Mauritius and South Africa. And now I'm into teaching at B schools and also at ICI. And I'm just at the back end of our career. I enjoy interacting with youngsters. That's where I find happiness. That's it. I feel India is growing, and having seen Western countries, I can say that we have a good role to play globally. From a $3 trillion, we should become a $5 trillion GDP soon, because growth rates are good. And I think this platform is what today I enjoyed your session. Yes, I really felt happy. Zindagi rehearsal nahi deti hai, aa jati hai. So something like that. And I just want to end with a quote of Steve Jobs, who says that I live my life every day as if this is the last day of my life. Every day I look into the mirror and say, "Kya main aaj marne wala hu?" And I'll do the things that I have to do today. So I think all of us should think like that. Look into the mirror in the morning and say, "Kya aaj mera last din hai धरती पर, तो मैं क्या करूँगा?" And often I feel हमें भी कहना चाहिए, because आपका जो है जिंदगी है, बहुत सारे issues आएंगे, संघर्षी जीवन है. But planning, of course, you gave very comatose examples. I was very happy to listen to your jugaad and the way you presented.
Prakash Avis is a person from Mauritius. Mauritius and financial planning go together, right? Tax saving. Prakash has experience in Mauritius.
Mauritius is now on the grey list.
Yeah. But he has experience.
So no, Mauritius is actually the issue now. Because I deal with some of the funds.
That's how Prakash connected, and after that he has been interacting more and more. And now he is here. He will learn a lot and share more experience.
Yeah, I've studied MOBA. MOBA is Mauritius Offshore Banking Act 2002. 50 acts बनाए हैं. Too simple to read. And see, you might claim that it is a very controversial territory. But Vodafone, SpiceJet, in fact, with the registrar of companies, I was sitting in Mauritius and I told him, "ये तो पूरा India दिख रहा है इधर. Ganesh, Vinayak, Geetanjali." I said, "नहीं, ये सब Mauritius companies है." I said, "नहीं, ये India companies है." So he said, "नहीं, ये registered यहाँ पर है. So you have to also can't have double names like this." तो काफी सारा, of course, India का पैसा काफी सारा bad है. And why it has reached, we all know. In fact, there's a white paper on black money, and how it was addressed in the parliament. So money reaches. It's not that you can catch it very easily. Directors, families set up businesses and they accumulate profits.
Yeah. Hi. I am Mr. Rohit. I have done my CA and CFA. We have NBFC and we work into two-wheeler finance. Which includes, so we have a family industry. Its name is Chapter Investment Private Limited in Bombay. Yeah. Chapter Investment Private Limited. Yeah.
Now I'll tell you, it's nice, Sumit. I think you're from Thane, Dombivali.
Yeah.
People are coming from far. Here, since more than a decade, conveners, past conveners of many study circuits, large ones, they have become members. They have attended because they were wanted to implement interactive sessions in the circuits, which they found it very challenging and difficult, but they are still trying to do. So they attended practically all, coming from JP Nagar, coming from Borivali, coming from Thane, New Bombay. Many came and they are trying to implement because, when you have expertise, you develop more expertise and through interactive, and it's always about growing together. Yeah.
Myself, Roongta, just Alim Chingani just told us. I was the past convener of Matunga City Studies. Member of previously also I have attended. I'm in traditional practice and I have started my practice by taking the trial basis. Routine practice and then developing tech practice. Now we are in finance, we are doing some private finance, Hdfc, NPA clearance, then further acquisitions in the community. One thing that we follow, शेयर किया जाता है कि बदला हुआ और तोड़ नजर आता है, बिगड़ा हुआ और तोड़ नजर आता है, पर आईना देखता हूँ मैं, बूढ़ा सा कुछ और नजर आता है.
Now I will say, as a compliment, yesterday when he spoke to me, he enrolled. He said he and his son, who is doing big ticket investment banking deals, are permanent members of this roundtable, pioneering the best special group. So that's it. Now I didn't remember. He mentioned he was the past convener of yeah.
I'm Ajay Parmar. I'm heading the investment department of Untitled Chapter. Basically, worked in capital market side, also in 30 years of experience.
I'll add. He had at a time 30 research analysts of every sector in his team and foreign collaboration. And lots of work has been going on behind this roundtable. First pioneering, Mr. Vijay Mullaji said in his opening address, and the chairman also referred the best pioneering group. Lot of effort. People like Ajay, people like Aditya, Sunil, I would add you also, Rohit, Archana, Yogesh, have been Anupam, have been doing continuously on a daily basis, sharing knowledge updates practically every day. What happens, including in FMC things, Fed, China, Japan, geopolitical, everything. And this is Mr. Mullaji referred about the panel of mentors, which is continuously on an expansion thing. People who want to give back something.
So I want to share a joke. It's a corporate joke. Today is earning season just started. Yesterday was TCS. Normally you see CNBC meeting now asking questions to CFOs. So what do you feel after the market, or what do you feel about the company after 3 quarters? CFO said, 2 quarter के बाद तो मुझे इनवाइट कौन हो वो भी पता नहीं.
क्या चीज का 2 क्वार्टर है उस पे भी डिपेंड कर रहा है.
And I come forward. We always create space for each other.
Hi, this is Venkatesh.
Your card.
I am I work in the finance team of Hdfc Bank. So prior to that, I was with an insurance company, life insurance company. I was business finance for the first time in the roundtable that I'm participating. Previously, I used to go to the accounting standards roundtable. So I'm getting to learn
Not just learn, we need
Learn
to
as well as
impact.
So I know him, I interacted with him, I just met him today. I just told him it's a virtually we have discussed, but when I'm seeing him face to face for the first time.
It's a big word, and it is all about doing deep dive research, presentations, team presentations, sharing and growing together. Be best in world class and be among the sharpest and the best people in the world.
Myself, I'm Sriya. I'm a chartered accountant and a registered manager by qualification. Started my career with EY in statutory audit for 2 to 3 years, and was with industry for 1 year, but that was not my forte. So I went on my practice now. I'm in practice since last 5 years. I was a listener of BFSI study circle. I just became a speaker last Saturday. So yeah, that was a very wonderful experience. All thanks to Mullaji for giving me that impetus to become a speaker.
This is Harish Mehta. बड़े आदमी के लिए गॉडफादर रहते हैं बैंक्स में, लेकिन जो छोटे आदमी है, छोटा SME SSI है, उसको कोई सुनता नहीं है. I particularly concentrate those who are suffering severe, having 9 CMR 9 or this SMA 7, and I handled the case with the bank, explaining what was the reason. Okay, गिर गया है, उसको हेल्प की जरूरत है. Then they understand that yes, this is the entertainable case to take the call. So I handle this type of case up to 5 crore only. Let's do the funding with the banks. This is my specialty and doing the case since last 10. Earlier I was in a routine practice. So doing with the banks, lot of banks, I talk to them that this is the case, this is a practical difficulty. Will you take a call? Someone is there in the India to take a call. Purely on merit. ₹1 chila kरेंगे.
A lot of people have been asking me to say something. I said it's all get together and share knowledge and presentation. I'll just mention about one thing. Each of you, and there are many who joined online, you have infinite potential. We have seen it and we have proved it. There are so many people who are there from inception. Infinite potential. You can rise on your own merit. And the world is there. It's a big, bad world. But there are many good people. Like all of them. Here, there are many good people. You look for good, you will find good. And this is how the whole thing, when we started this industry, people get together, like-minded. So, meet, greet, do deep dive. There are 4 R's which were shared to us. I'll just share something on that, what was shared to us initially in the vision. Share experiences and be among the sharpest minds in the world of business and finance. To take India growth story, the best in the world. There's 4 R's. Research, resources, representation and reach out. Over 9 Central Council members and over 20 RCMs were involved in it. These 4 R's were given. Each of you contributes to resources, as the office bearer said, right? Summits, conferences, conclaves. The best minds come from here. Whenever the participants and the people who address conferences, speakers who are coming from here, they become grand successes. Dr. Yogesh, banking conclave. How many years back? You were a top person in charge of it. Done work quietly. There were over 250 people, right, at a touch, right? And how many bank MDs came? Number of them.
I recall we were sitting with Bob also that day.
Right? Bank of Baroda, State Bank, so many, Saraswat Bank, so many. Quietly work was done banking conclave, right? Capital Market Summit. Vijay, you are there. Rohit, right? Aditya, you are aware. Hardik was there with us at that point of time. Capital Market Summit, senior vice presidents, presidents from mutual funds, they were attending as participants. When they fill up the form, when we interact, who is it? And ultimately, that was a quality when this team was on. So each of you, everybody has infinite potential. Work on it. So this is resources. Representation, we said, we talked about it, right? Investment advisory, do a representation, do deep dive. Of course, the bureaucratic thing is there, but people want representation to regulators, or whatever, whether it SEBI or RBI or NFRA, MCA, there are now more and more regulators coming, pension funds. So that is it. And the reach out. This was given at the inception. We talked about Lodha Auditorium, ICI. In the first meeting, reach out to every stakeholder. We talk about the financial statement. There are preparers and there are users and there are regulators. Reach out to every stakeholder. This is what Harsh, you have done. The NFRA order came on 21st of June and another came on 22nd of June. You have worked late night till 1 o'clock in the night, maybe even later, within 24 hours and prepared a short presentation on that NFRA order. Deep dive. This is research. Shortest possible time. We had a telephone conversation late night, and then morning you are ready clearly, and that has been appreciated by the who is who in the country. Short period, because world of finance doesn't stay. It's very dynamic. This has happened. So this is it. Infinite potential. If awards were given on merit, there will be 10 people from this room who would get it. But the idea is get recognition by the people whom you respect. That is very, 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 very important. And it happens, it has been started and it has been proven, and that should continue. I am really glad you are sitting behind quietly. I would be very happy you are there and doing a presentation on some of deep research on banking, right? And I'm sure Rohit, he would be sitting next to you, and I'll tell you, it will happen. If there is a question on you, if you can answer it, fine. If you have any challenge in answering it, Rohit, I'm sure you will answer it, right? That is a teamwork here. That is a teamwork here. And if he has any challenge in answering it, I will ensure that the question is answered and a solution is found. That is what these round tables are for. The solution comes here.
No, we should thank Manoj for convening and.
I'm not sure. These are all nice.
One small question.
Yes. Yeah, and all of them. Yeah.
Everybody is there. Excuse me. Everybody is there in that group? No, I'm not sure actually. You are not there?
No. I just registered now. I was thinking to come or not to come.
So they will add up. We'll ask. They will add up. Yeah.
I just.
Thank you all. Thank you. Nice doing that.
Yeah. No, please
एनीवेज लंबा है, कोई भी रास्ता करो ना, बहुत डिफिकल्ट है। Dispute है तो कोई No, I'm not in practice, but I'm Gidwani, I'm Valicha. Prakash Valicha. Ah, so this one you are batchmates. Senior. Ma, I'm teaching. I see. What do you
And he has seen the life. So he knows his time. He knows that being having enough. He has seen people in hospital. How things go.
So incidentally, even I have learned sensitivity in Mauritius. Formation of companies, how we connect. No, it hasn't been very complicated. 2017 black money and all that. No, it's not the case. It's a gray area. It's not a gray area. It is officially passport. South Africa
I know that, I know that. आपको बहुत मुश्किल है. But I'm saying to you, थोड़ा सा
लैपटॉप कौन होता है